Welcome to a new era of wrestling podcasts, where the hot takes, fantasy booking, nostalgic trips, and everything that happens in your day-to-day life always comes back to the squared circle. It's the Everything is Pro Wrestling podcast with Mike DeSilva, Josh Flanagan, and Nick Flanagan.
And we are back again for what seems like the 50th time in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Guy, listen, new dad, all right, tough.
Also, it's the summer, man. People have fun in the summer. Like,
so
you know what? Let us live our lives. Sure.
Right, just go out.
Let them live their lives. I don't have a life.
That's not true. My dog was barking up a storm when you walked in today, and I'm pretty sure I heard her say, "Who hired this hunk?"
I think it's because I look like a dog right now.
No,
I think she's like, "Oh shit, another dog's here."
Dude, we got another dog.
Right.
Dog on dog. Hur, hur, hur. Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I was gonna say Braun's making an impact on everyone.
If I ever look like Braun Breaker, that would be the highlight of my life.
Oh hell yeah!
That is a good-looking man.
I don't see why
Ozempic,
not.
steroids. What else would we need? New jawline.
Plastic
That
surgery.
shit that was in Yannick Sinner's system.
Yeah.
All the good
The
stuff.
Turkish
Just-
hair thing.
I feel like
all the
I
good
feel like
stuff. Some
Braun.
somas maybe.
Yeah.
Try
Braun
some
kind of
somas.
has a little bit of like he's just more filled out, but I feel like he has a little bit of a Mike D nose. Like
Oh,
a little,
yeah.
you know, he's kind of got
Well,
like
yeah, he's got very pronounced features.
he's got
I'm
a
not gonna
pronounced
lie.
feature.
Now, I
A lot
didn't
of
put it
features.
together, but now that you say that, you guys do have similar faces.
Except like if I put on like
His is a bit fuller
75
than
pounds,
yours.
probably because he's probably what?
It's probably like 250.
Yeah, I'd
Full,
say
just
250, 260,
muscle.
but all muscle.
Right.
Yeah. So if I put on probably like 75 pounds,
Yeah.
Of muscle.
am I doing the math correctly there? Yeah, 25 plus 50.
Yeah,
I don't know how much
Steiner
you weigh,
math
so I
Steiner,
don't know.
Steiner Math segment. It's been a while, but we are back. Episode 22. Everything's Pro Wrestling podcast. Hand up. I'm gonna suck when it comes to wrestling knowledge. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm gonna do my best to keep up with these guys, but
Tell you how to burp a baby and change a diaper though.
That's right.
exactly. You know what I mean? I'll help
You'd
you with your
wipe the floor with us
routine.
in real life stuff.
No, it's just been a whirlwind. I just got back to work Wednesday, so keeping up with the wrestling content and watching, 3-4 nights a week, including all the PLEs, add more days of the week. It's been impossible for me. So I'm going to be learning right along with maybe some of you out there listening. But we'll start with probably the biggest story of the week in sad news. Obviously, Psycho Sid Vicious. Going back to Golden Era Wrestling and beyond.
To Justice,
Both.
all the names.
Yeah, Sid Justice. I mean, going back to like both promotions,
Yeah.
made a name for himself in two of the biggest promotions, WWF, WCW. Unfortunately, passed away. I didn't know he was battling cancer. Did you
didn't
guys?
either.
Nobody
no.
knew.
It was a surprise.
It was. He kept it to himself. I had watched. I watched kind of going down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
as I'm sure you all can imagine, or have done yourself, about his passing and different things. And there was a few different wrestlers who said they had saw him recently and had no idea. He looked great. He was smiling. He seemed happy. Didn't share it with anybody outside of family. And then I think his family has even come out and said that he didn't share that diagnosis with anyone outside of his immediate family. So
Yeah. It's interesting when a celebrity passes from a disease or a cancer that you didn't know about. Like Chadwick Boseman stands out as somebody like what huh?
Right.
Was it an accident? Oh no, he had cancer.
Yep.
And it's hard to wrap your mind around all of it, obviously, because you don't really know what they were going through. But sometimes, I can imagine there's probably a piece of not having everybody sympathize so publicly.
Right, you get to just live your
You get to
like,
just kind of live
normal,
your life.
like without
just be
people
and
like
cloud over
yeah.
And you kind of, for lack of a better term, go out with people still having positive thoughts about you instead of feeling bad for you. And then, when you're gone, we've watched all the clips this week and honoring him and remembering him. The countless. It's sad that some of the memes are the ones that come up first, breaking his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're alive, pal.
The live promo with your mom.
You're half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that
Yes,
you do.
the memes
Such a great
are
line.
countless, but there's no denying when it comes to just when you think professional wrestling and guys that just had the look.
Yep.
You think of Psycho Sid, you think of Sid Vicious. It's just like Sid Justice, the blonde, kind of little Jerry curl he had
little
going on
perm,
there, a
nice
little
little perm
perm.
going on.
He was a beast.
Also, a
and
guy who
sad.
just knew how to connect with a crowd. Like,
Yeah.
the crowds always were just super into him.
So that was I went back and watched Survivor Series
Yep.
'96. for that specific reason. I saw a tweet from Matt Cardona that said, I walked into MSG for Survivor Series 96 with the Sean zebra biker hat on. And
classic.
the moment Sid won, I threw it to the ground and went down into one knee as if I was Sid because he just hooked me.
Yeah.
And like watching that match back, the crowd was so hot for him. And you can see obviously when Sean came out, everybody loved Sean. And that was the height of everything. As that match went on, they just slowly turned on Sean. And by the end, the whole place popped for Sid.
Such a pop when he won.
The
Like,
pop was insane.
you would think, if you didn't know anything other than the finish, you'd think he went in as the face.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a pop.
He just had the look, and he, especially early on, late 80s, early 90s, you think of the golden era, like that's the guys that, Vince loved, right? He loved those big dudes. But he had the total package. He's basically, no pun intended, he was kind of everything that he wanted Lex Luger to be.
Yeah, I mean,
think about it.
So
like gaining the audience's affection, really,
So there's rumor out there, I don't know how true this is or not, but I've seen multiple people say in shoot interviews, he was originally Vince's pick to be Hogan's replacement as like the top guy.
So
back
he
in
was,
like the late night, and then Sid was like, I'd rather just be a heel. He's like, I think I work better as a heel. I don't want to be the face of the company.
Yep. He was the guy when Hogan jumped ship. He was gonna be given the ball to be that face, and he said, nope, I want to be a heel. I think I'm better as a heel. And even just the awareness. To say, okay, you're going to give me Hogan 2.0, who would have said no at that time, other than someone who was completely confident in their work and their ability to connect with that crowd still as a heel. Not enough credit. And I think for us, we don't underrate him, and I think, wrestling fans as a whole, but I think in a lot of places he is underrated.
Definitely.
Overall, what he did, his accolades, I mean, 2-time world champion, but so many different other accolades in the impact. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, when I think of Sid's gimmick, I think of how much he terrified me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that music, like, to start. And I think
good.
I think of him compared to Taker, right? Taker scared the shit out of me the same way he did. Taker scared the shit out of me because of the presentation and the gimmick.
The paranormal
Sid just scared the
aspect
shit out
of
of me
it.
because of what he looked like.
Exactly.
Like, he didn't need anything else.
Yeah.
Black trunks, black vest, black boots. That was it.
So I agree the same thing, except instead of Taker, it was Kane. Like,
Yeah,
Kane scared the shit out of me, but again, it was because
Kane
of how
scared
he
the shit out of me
looked
too. Yeah.
and a bit of his demeanor. But Sid, it was just his demeanor, his
facials,
face,
his look,
his
yeah,
voice,
the way he would
just
go
everything.
up and down. Yep. He had another great promo in the Alamo Dome.
Yeah.
And that same thing with Sean, where you could hear him echoing, and then he goes to the whisper, and then it was one of a kind, man. And speaking of Sean, like I mentioned that match with Vader. Mentioned that match at Survivor Series. That was supposed to be Vader in that spot.
Yeah.
And they had fought at SummerSlam, and Vader was supposed to be the guy. He fought at Survivor Series, and then ultimately a trilogy at WrestleMania where
it was still supposed to be at the Rumble, actually.
At the Rumble.
Yeah, because the Rumble was going to be in Sean's hometown, so that's where he was going to
Yep.
always win the title back.
And after that first match at SummerSlam, Sean went back and was like, I can't work with Vader for whatever reason. But he's like, but I want it to be Sid.
Yeah.
Put Sid in there. Sid's the guy. He can do it. And there's a lot to be said similar with the Hogan thing. So like you look through history, there were so many times where people were like, we need a guy who's the guy. Sid was the guy.
Yeah. I mean, Sid was going to be the SummerSlam 95 opponent for Sean before they pivoted to the ladder match. That was also going to be Sid versus Sean for the IC title.
Yeah.
We ended up getting some pretty iconic out of that.
With all due respect to Sid, we got a better match. But I mean, Sean and Sid had incredible chemistry. The Survivor Series match and the Royal Rumble match are great matches.
And think of all the chemistry, and Sean alluded to this in a tweet where he was like, a lot of the credit for HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, needs to be credited to Sid and his impact when Diesel moved on, and then Sid jumped into that role, and that whole kind of triangle between the three of them, like, yeah, he deserves his credit in so many different facets, in so many different ways. Yeah. And then you hear people talk about him, and he seemed to be the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Because complete opposite of his
down to earth
presenting demeanor, but so nice, smile, happy. That's what everyone said about him up until he ultimately passed.
Right, which also, based on some of the other stories you hear about him, totally makes sense. Like, it sounds like he almost never wanted to be a wrestler. He just did it and was like, yeah, why not? I'll go along with it. Because there's also always the story of, like, he was supposed to be booked to be a world champ. He's like, I actually have softball this week, so I'm going to go do that instead.
Yeah, that was the thing. And I watched, I don't know if it was
Can't miss the beer league.
It was, I think it was Conrad and Eric Bischoff. I heard a clip, and Conrad was like, everyone says it's like softball, softball, softball. He's like, we see all these pictures of him as a grandpa and at home with family and everything. They're like, what if that was just his excuse? He just wanted to go home and be
right. Yeah, that's absolutely
and it's like
possible.
that probably makes some sense. Like he was just like, all right, I'm done. This is a easy, quote unquote excuse. Who knows? But like, I just want to go be with family and enjoy my life. And now in hindsight, thank God he did that and had that time and had that moment to be a father, grandfather, etc. So
it's entirely possible it was softball and his kids were just on the team with him. So like that's also very possible.
Is he in the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
He's not.
No. See, that
there
sucks.
was rumors he was going to go in this year, and then he didn't. For
I
think
there
was. He's definitely got to go in now.
I don't know if it was
Vegas.
a tweet from Sid, some sort of message from Sid, I believe, where he was like, I feel like I should be in there in the next couple of years. So I think next year he has to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad that it's after his death. Yeah. That's the shitty part. of that perspective. But yeah, lost another legend. Weird to say, but at least and cancer fucking sucks. Fuck cancer. From the top of
Yes,
I'll scream that from any rooftop. But at least the amount of tragedy that we've had as wrestling fans and the way some of these wrestlers have gone out. It's a different perspective on it because he was still young. Early 60s, right? It was 63 years old. Still a young guy. But shout out to Sid, man. Yeah. Rest in peace, legend. Thank you for the memories. And the best part about being so impactful is that all your content going to live forever. So there's going to be you're going to be gaining new fans pretty much till the end of time. As people continue to consume all of the content on.
And he's still making it. I remember Joe Hendry came out and said that Sid had a huge impact. Joe Hendry said he changed his whole moveset once he saw Sid. So
great power bomb.
I mean, we'll get more into it as we discuss Raw and all the things that have happened, but there were also some nice tributes to him this week. So.
Yeah, that tribute was nice. Yep, they did a good job.
For sure. So had to start with that. Had to start with the legend. Other legends that were in action this week over the weekend. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't catch any of this. I tried to. You boys got a little bit of a bootleg setup. Bootleg wasn't working that day, so I wasn't able to get all in. I was not paying $85. So no, sorry about that. AEW and Tony Khan.
You want a crowdsource, crowdfund, send donations.
Right, yeah. Feel free. Venmo was always open. But a lot happened overseas. 50,000 plus people in the crowd, correct?
Yeah, 52, 53.
So I'm gonna pass it over to the kayfabe cousins to break down all in. What's going on over there?
Yeah. First thing, so crowd. I want to mention that quickly because last year it was 82, 83, supposedly in
allegedly.
Wembley.
Like there's so many conflicting reports about last year's that I don't know anymore.
And it's funny because
it may have been one guy in like 40 mirrors for all we know.
So they said, I remember them saying 80 was the threat. Somewhere around 80. And this year it was around 50. And watching it, I'm like, where'd those 30,000 people go?
Right.
Because
it still looked
it was packed.
Full. I did notice though the setup
was a couple
different.
Yes.
But like the ramp was bigger, so like they may have taken out some seats there. I don't think
the
they
production
put any
value this year was far and away from different last year in terms of the setup, the way it looked, all of that went into it. Yes.
There were some camera work issues. They missed quite a few things, so it's like ooh. They're definitely not quite. You can tell. I mean, they're still. I mean, they've been around 5 years now, so. They're not on WWE's levels yet,
at that point. Yeah,
it's still some stuff where like you've been doing this long enough.
Yeah,
like, you got to know not to miss them.
Because I will say I was expecting, and I'm sure a lot of people were harping on them for you lost 30,000 people in a year, but it looked good, it sounded good. It was still 50,000, still a great crowd. Thing, so like I'm not gonna knock them at all.
Right, like 50,000 people is still a very impressive feat, especially for a company that's only been around for 5 years.
Yep. 100%. But yeah, I mean, where do you want to start?
I mean, do we start just on the pre-show? Like there was one like. Jamie Hayter debuting coming back on the pre-show.
I missed it because I wasn't watching the pre-show.
I totally get it.
What did they call the pre-show?
0 hour.
That
was actually 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. It's like
I almost got into that one, but it's bootleg. Bootleg wasn't working.
You should have easily. They also do that on YouTube.
Yeah, that was on YouTube. So like I had it
didn't
up
do my
at
research,
some point, but I had stepped away, and that's something I would have liked to have seen.
Right, exactly.
Like, that's one of your stars. For the women's roster.
She was the world champion before she got injured.
Yep. So that was weird. I didn't know until like the end of the night. I saw that she came back.
And then also starting the entrances for the first match on the pre-show also felt weird. Like I don't like that.
That was weird. I didn't like it either.
Do it on the main show. It's your opening match. Do it then. It was a great match. I mean, I loved it. They need taller ladders in England. God damn, those things were so small.
So small.
Until the one that was way too big. They were too big.
No, he's above it, like reaching down for the belt. Yeah, I noticed that too because there's a couple spots towards the end of the match. I think it was Christian and Buddy, a few of them up on the ladder, and I'm like, these are dwarf ladders. Like
the ladder you literally hit the belt like multiple times.
It was weird. Yeah. But luckily, I don't think it took away from the match.
No, the match was still really good.
Still a really good match. Did you think that was how the ending was going to go?
Kind of. Give Pac his big moment in his home crowd. The only thing
being hurt last year and not being able to perform.
The only thing I dislike about it is it. I mean, I feel it was already obvious anyway, but it's now made the all-out match between him and Ospreay even more obvious to me who's going to win. Like, you're not going to put 2 titles on Pac.
He's now got a trios belt.
As much as I love Pac, he's not going to be a double champ.
Yeah, that was what I didn't like about Wednesday. Was the way that happened.
Yeah.
And I loved the way it looked and came across. But to your point, it didn't make any sense for it to be Pac in that spot.
Except it does because he had already won the number 1 contendership, and that had been pushed aside for months. And he announced it before All In that he was going to get the match at All Out. So it's like their flow was a bit off on this.
I think that's still the areas where AEW drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like those things where you're like, how did you miss this? How is this not obvious? I think that's where they drive me crazy.
Yeah.
But good match overall.
Match.
Like they all performed really, really well.
Yeah.
It was a good ladder match. Everyone also was safe and healthy.
Yes,
which is
that's
always a concern.
Maybe that's why they did the smaller ladders.
Yeah,
The less bumps in that
they didn't want to risk it there. But.
Right. And then you had Tony Storm and Mariah May in a killer match.
Oh my god,
that was
so
incredible.
They fucking delivered on every level. Every level.
Yeah.
Emotional, like ring psychology, like especially in Mariah was amazing, but I want to give Tony Storm so much love because you could tell she was still like, do I do this? Like I still have these affections, and Mariah was like, nah, fuck this shit. Like it's business. They blew that.
And also like I think Mariah is incredible, and she's definitely coming along. But like Tony being the veteran, like really stepped up in that match, and like that was just such.
You could tell she was the lead in that dance.
And I understand. I understand why, given the names in the later one, but I may have flipped the two women's matches.
Oh, I would have.
Like
absolutely.
this,
especially after seeing the result of them.
Yeah,
I absolutely.
For this to be the second match, felt
that match could have been right before Danielson and Swerve.
Yeah, it easily could have been the semi-main
probably
event.
how I would have did it in hindsight, but
right.
Yeah, it delivered. And even the pops, like I think we were all convinced Mariah was going to win.
Yeah.
There was a couple points at the end, false finish. So I'm like, fuck, I thought Tony was going to go. And the crowd was there and was hot for that one. And I think that's what upset me so much about the other women's match we'll get to. The crowd was non-existent.
No. To be fair, though, to that crowd, you're also like
after
4 hours into a pay-per-view.
Before that was also Ospreay.
That was, there was a killer match before that.
It made sense. It wasn't a good place to put it on the card.
Then, what was next? Was it the tag title match next? That was all right.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was okay.
Yeah, nothing special.
Didn't do too much for me. Of course, I figured the Bucks were going to go over. I was hoping they wouldn't.
Right.
But I figured they would. I would have liked to have seen Bowens and Caster get the belts back.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling they're breaking up soon, though.
Okay.
I don't know why, but like
Max
something tells me
has been kind of alluding to it in a lot of his promos. You know, I'm best wrestler of this. He's been very solo, so I can see that.
Like he's definitely been a heel as like even though Billy Gunn and Bowens have stayed face.
Yeah, because you've seen many times where Billy and Bowens have had to grab him and curb his enthusiasm, for lack of better terms, because he's just been off the handle. Yep.
I did also love the Young Bucks Sergeant Pepper attire. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a nice touch.
That was good. Mm-hmm. That was good. What is it?
Trying to remember, it was the next.
So many fucking.
That's
ones.
the thing. Like,
what
was next?
Order's gonna be difficult.
The Casino Gauntlet. I don't know if this was next. It's just the one that popped in my head. That was awesome.
That was really.
That
really
was a lot of till the end. We'll get to that in a minute. But like Nigel McGuinness, I did not see that coming.
No, Nigel fucking McGuinness. And it was funny because I remember the week before, the Wednesday before on Dynamite, where he was in the ring with Swerve and Danielson, and I thought, okay, this is going to be where
like
they
the face
set
to
it
face,
up. And it never came to
no, because
Danielson went crazy. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, maybe they are going to shelf this. Maybe this is going to. And then he came. And at first, I'm not going to lie, the music didn't.
No,
register
I didn't
for
pick
me.
it up at first.
The music didn't register, but the crowd obviously did. And I'm like,
it also helped though that I think his name popped up on the screen right away. So,
but that was crazy, and he performed his fucking ass off.
He was incredible. There's just a herd of turkeys walking through my yard right now.
Oh yeah, there is
an absolute herd of turkeys.
That is an insane amount of turkeys.
Like why?
Thanksgiving came early.
Is what you live out. I'm not really out in the woods to be honest. I'm like borderline.
I literally just counted 13 of them.
13
I don't think
turkeys.
I saw all of them.
Holy shit!
I think there's a couple I've missed. Oh, there's a big ass one too. That could be Mama Turkey.
Yeah, there's more coming. There's more turkeys coming. I don't know where all these turkeys came from.
Be
but
able to get them on the pod.
Yeah,
right.
Close enough.
What is your take on Bryan Danielson? Do you think he's going to retire?
Well, yes, because he said.
I was asking the turkeys.
I
was asking the turkeys.
Yeah.
Turkey, gobble gobble.
Wow.
Duck your head. It's hunting season. We're heading towards the Burr months.
Yeah,
brother.
get out of here, turkeys.
Damn.
That's not south.
Turkeys ain't never lied. All right, my bad. Sorry.
No. You know,
ADHD moment.
I'm honestly glad you said that because I would have been pissed if I missed that.
Yeah, no, you have to see the turkeys.
That was a nice moment to see.
Yeah.
They would have been at the window knocking.
Right?
Damn. Damn, we got a couple of big ones out there. All right, enough with the turkeys. My apologies. Back to Owen. Yeah.
Yeah, so Nigel looked great.
Looked so good. He was in there for a long time.
Because he was the third entrant.
And he stayed in.
And then he stayed in. Yeah,
until it ended.
Right.
Yep.
So that was impressive. Ricochet's debut, I think we all saw it coming, but I still popped for it. I'm not gonna lie, it was just awesome.
You know the stuff he does,
yeah.
And I think we've seen him, but like we haven't seen him for a while. And the run he was on before he left was crazy, and he just jumped back. He picked right up where he left.
Oh yeah,
the moveset, everything was fucking. He looks incredible. Obviously, he always does, and the chemistry automatically with all those guys who I know in the Indies he's worked with a lot of them.
Not all of them,
but not all those guys.
Right.
So like to immediately come in and have that chemistry, I think he's going to elevate that roster from the standpoint of like that WWE rub. It goes a long way.
Now it will
from all standpoints, not even just in ring, ring psychology, where you conduct yourself. Like that's going to elevate the roster.
Absolutely. I will say though, I know they teased it this week. I hope they hold off for a little while on him and Ospreay.
Me too.
Like I don't want that to be even I know it's not going to be all out. I don't want it I don't want it till 2025.
Yeah, no. Please hold off on that.
Yeah.
Because right now, it doesn't make sense. They're both huge baby faces,
Exactly.
the way they're coming in. Yeah, so when Ospreay came out, I was like, fuck, they're doing this now. And then Pac saved the day.
Right.
Not the way we wanted, but he did save the day in the moment. But yeah, no, that match was awesome.
Yeah.
You want to tell them about the finish?
And then Christian wins the
Fucking
match.
Christian Cage.
Like, how do you take the air out of a match? You have
Christian
Christian win
was
it.
in the fucking ladder match earlier.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing I read was, according to Meltzer, and I don't think this is true, but according to Meltzer
these days has an asterisk. So
yeah. According to Meltzer, Christian won this one because he was supposed to win the one that Ospreay won, that set up Ospreay versus Swerve at Forbidden Door. The problem with that is Ospreay won it, I believe, on the Wednesday after Double or Nothing, which was Swerve versus Christian.
Yeah.
So why the fuck would they run that? They would never run that back.
Yeah,
I don't think he was supposed to win that other one.
That doesn't sound believable.
So
also, not to be a jerk, but why is Christian winning any of this? Like, we love Christian for what he's done, and the gimmick he's in is cool, but no, this is not the opportunities for a guy like Christian.
No.
It's not.
His character is incredible. I love the Christian character, but I don't need the Christian character getting AEW world title matches.
Or even any titles at all. He shouldn't. It's just, I just don't get it. And I thought that was finally going to be the moment that Luchasaurus fucking turn. It was built that way. The way he came out right after.
Especially the way he came out and the way
the ladder
they interacted at the end of the ladder match.
I thought this is fine. The crowd was ready for it, and then nope.
And now it's going to be too late. You're going to have it happen. Nobody's going to care.
No one's going to care.
We're going to be like, all right,
it's going to be
this is too late now.
Like Otis. Right?
Yes, this is exactly
we never got the
same
payoff,
thing.
and now we're not. Or at least it doesn't seem like we're going to get that payoff. At least not with Chad. So I'm worried that they're going to lose Luchasaurus. Same because I thought they could have built that.
That could have been
him huge.
Luchasaurus he's really good in ring. He's got a great look. He could be a star.
He could work
for
his
them,
ass
but
off.
they don't push him that way for some reason. They make him Christian's lackey, which makes
Christian going over was
no sense.
And I also think at a certain point, Nick Wayne's going to have to go spread his wings too.
Yeah,
because
Nick Wayne's fucking awesome.
He's so
and
so
he deserves
fucking
better than what he's gotten so far.
Yeah, he's basically behind the gimmick of his mom.
Yeah,
in this whole thing.
Pretty
right
much.
Now. She's working her ass off.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that was very disappointing how that ended.
Yeah,
very disappointing. We can talk Darby and Jack Perry coffin match.
Yeah.
Also, fucking.
Allegedly, that one also had his time cut. It
felt like that. That was very, very short.
Yeah.
Especially for a coffin match.
Yeah.
Usually you get more out of it.
And it was also so one-sided.
Yeah, it was.
It was just Jack Perry beat the shit out of Darby Allin and then throw him in a coffin.
Yep.
And then
the crazy thing is fucking shout out to Darby coming out with the thumbtacks glued to his face.
Yeah.
Tack exposed. That was fucking insane.
That was a sick...
So I enjoyed the first few minutes where he's just headbutting Jack Perry with the tacks.
It started really well. They did the glass spot, which was a nice callback.
I will say they popped fucking crazy.
It also then led to some pretty loud "fuck CM Punk" chants.
Yes, yeah.
So,
that was fun. But I didn't like the way it ended.
No, same.
One, how abrupt it was, but even just the interference and other stuff. I did pop her Sting.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Always gonna pop her Sting, obviously. So that was cool.
Hopefully that's just a one-off though. Stick to your retirement Sting. Don't actually come back for a match.
Yeah. The other thing too, speaking of AEW, little things that drive me crazy is when Sting's in the ring. The Bucks and Jack Perry bail and go towards the rail, and there's no way for them to get out.
Right.
So, literally, you see them standing there. You see Sting having to go the other way and get Darby, but now he's on the ramp, so they can't go anywhere, and everyone's just standing around.
It's just an
who's
awkward...
next?
Yeah.
Those are little things that, maybe I noticed that, but I think fans like us notice it, that drive you crazy.
It's also the type of thing that, with a closer-up camera angle and a different camera angle could be avoided.
You can, yeah.
So, it's a production element.
That absolutely happens in WWE.
Right,
We just don't see it
right, because they know how to hide it.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But I wonder if it. Obviously they're pushing Jack Perry. It seems like to the fucking moon.
Yeah,
and it seems like now I know I've read tweets and seen things where Darby is now supposedly going to be in the title hunt. I know what happened if you watched last night with Moxley. Calling him out. Now is going to be interesting. But it seems like they were finally ready to position Darby in the world title hunt. No offense to Darby, I fucking love him. I don't think this is the time you want to put him in that with all the guys who are there. I don't know.
No. Although I like the idea of giving him a title match. I like the thought of him and Danielson.
Oh, the match itself would be fucking amazing.
And I think, for some reason, I thought it's already scheduled for Dynamite Grand Slam. It's gonna be, I could be misremembering, but I thought at Dynamite Grand Slam was going to be those. It's going to be Darby versus whoever the champion is at that point, which is going to be Danielson.
Or I wonder now with, again, Moxley calling him out last night. That Moxley return last night was also insane.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll get to that, but that was fucking weird.
It also felt very much like they're trying to do the NWO.
Yeah.
The way he was talking,
when
the
he said
things
to
he
Shivani,
said.
this is no longer your company to Tony Schiavone, and then just leaves the ring.
Also,
and like looked totally different. The look was different. The sounds. It was.
I also didn't know that it was Tony Schiavone's company to begin with.
I was going to say,
I know.
Wait, did I miss something?
I thought that was a weird line. But.
Schiavone booking Dynamite these days?
Now, I got to tell you guys where my brain went when he said that. I thought of a certain McMahon or two.
Yes, I've seen that.
Exactly where I went.
Okay.
Because he gets, I don't know, you probably didn't see it, Mike, but Moxley comes in. It's to start the show, essentially, to give the recap. He comes out, and the guy's like, oh, we didn't know Moxley was going to be here. We had a match ready. Walks in the ring, shaved head, a little different look. Gets in the ring.
Different theme song, too. He didn't come out to Wild Thing.
Schiavone gets in the ring. I'm going to talk to him, ask him a couple, how you doing? How you been, buddy? Da-da-da. He gets straight to the point. I don't know what he said before that, but he was like, this isn't your company anymore, Schiavone, and like puts his finger in his chest and leaves.
To be fair, he didn't say Schiavone. He just pointed at him and said, this is no longer your company. And I was like, when was it Tony Schiavone?
After calling out Darby Allin. Darby Allin, we finally got a cross pass. It's time, yada, yada, yada. But then the cool thing later was Marina Shafir.
Yeah.
She looked dominant.
Awesome.
So that later they go to him in the backstage. Marina Shafir comes out, who we haven't seen in God knows how long.
Unless she's been on like Collision, because I'll be honest, I don't watch
think they
Collision.
said she hasn't been around for a while. So a completely different look and just takes out like 10 male security guards.
Yeah,
looks at the camera,
beats the shit out of them.
Scary, and the two of them walk off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are they building here?
Shane McMahon led a little faction.
I have seen a lot of people make that same connection online.
That's where my brain went first.
My brain went, is this going to be their attempt at the NWO?
Because I'm saying, the WWE guy.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
Maybe by November 6th for no particular reason.
Yeah.
Right. That's entirely possible.
For no particular reason.
Just a nice random date that we're just going to throw out there.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's just a new, fresh idea for Moxley, which I'll welcome that as well. But hey.
Yeah, because I feel like
the tinfoil hat was on.
Yes. As fun as it was to see him celebrate at the end, which we'll get to in a minute, the Blackpool Combat Club is starting to feel a bit stale for me. Like they're losing, or I guess now the Packpool Combat Club as they made, because he's in the team now. So yeah, it's a bit weird. And then we had
Ospreay, MJF.
Well, I was going to get to that in a minute because I have a question. I want to ask you about that.
Okay.
So we have Britt and Mercedes. A decent match, but like nowhere near as good as the other women's match. They should have flipped them.
It was.
I get it. Mercedes Moné is the big names. You're gonna put it. She makes the most money allegedly. So
it was
put her
just
on
a
later,
weird fucking match.
Yeah,
it felt so like clumsy and clunky, and the movesets were not clean.
Right.
You'd see them talking to each other throughout the whole match. Britt was not selling as much as she should. Like her back was being destroyed by Mercedes. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. It doesn't seem like they had the chemistry. Oh yeah, I want to give them benefit of the doubt because their first time in the ring together?
It's their first time together. Britt's coming off basically a stroke.
Yeah.
So like
and a real back injury on top of that.
There are definitely factors that cause it. It just sucks. Is all. Like I had higher expectations.
No, it wasn't good. The crowd was not with them.
Hopefully, especially once Britt maybe gets some more matches under it, run it back.
I hope
maybe
so, because it just didn't look good. And ironically enough, I guess I was ready to not shit on Mercedes, but blame Mercedes. Like, she still isn't. I think that was on Britt more. It didn't work. Even like Camille's presence didn't really make sense. Like, it was just very clunky, and it was the ending result I expected.
Right.
Mercedes retaining, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it didn't make me excited for a return match. I'll put it that way. It didn't make me excited for, Britt, they're going to have a return match, and Britt's going to go over.
Right. The best part about the whole match was Mercedes' pretty sick entrance.
Yes, yeah.
She came out in like a royal carriage type thing and had some corgis with her.
That was dope.
That was Snoop Dogg there. He didn't make an appearance.
No, he didn't. Even like having
used that one already.
It was a Snoop Lion actually.
Oh, okay, reggae.
Yeah,
La Rasta.
Yeah, disappointing.
So then the only thing we have left are the two matches. Out of curiosity, which one do you think was better?
Oh my God, Swerve and Danielson. I'm going.
No, I agree. I'm with you on that too. But we'll end on that one then. But MJF Ospreay was it was
amazing.
Fucking match.
It was fucking amazing. Yeah.
Do you think?
I don't think it was as good as the last one.
That's my thing too. Do you think that's what caused you to think it wasn't as good?
Yes.
They had a previous one that was better.
100%. Because the way I look at it is like that was my barometer is their last match, right? And I don't think it was as good as the last match for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
As long as they went, the fucking breathing mask at the end, like everything that went into it, and also it being in the beginning of the story seemed cool.
Right.
So amazing match. I just don't think it was better than their first one or Swerve Danielson. Like I'm glad that was the main event, obviously with the title match.
Obviously,
that one
title match versus career.
Yeah, exactly.
And it genuinely could have gone either way in that final match.
They fucking had me.
He comes out to Final Countdown, and you're like, well, of course his last match is going to come out to Final Countdown.
There were so many little things.
Yeah.
Similar to like Cody when he was walking with the dog, where you were like, wait a minute, is he going to draw? I had the same vibe, and I'm like, this is setting up the whole the huge tribute or, vignette they did before that. Obviously, the family being in the front row, like everything, Final Countdown. I'm like, oh shit, this might really be it.
Yeah.
So they hooked me.
Yeah, I was the same way. I'm like, oh, shit. And then because you
That's
hear all
what
the
we
rumors
missed.
about
Hook.
like, oh
Taz
yeah,
fucking-
I'm okay that
Taz
we didn't
did a
talk
Taz
about that.
mission on Saturday.
Okay.
You missed a good Taz mission.
Damn.
That was
You can
fun.
still do
That's
it?
literally the only thing in that match you need to watch.
That's
So
the
that
only
match
redeeming
was
quality.
Oh, boy.
fucking
Hook got the
horseshit.
FTW belt back because of Taz's Taz mission.
Yeah,
So
it was
that
Hook
fun.
versus Jericho.
Yeah,
Jericho really needs to just stop.
He's ruining the careers or the revamped career of Big Bill. The poor fucking Brian Keith, who now I'm like forgetting his name.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I couldn't be more excited. And now didn't they bring somebody else new into that fucking faction that they're
They
corrupting?
did, and I've already forgotten who. Oh, Roddy Strong teamed with
Strong.
them this week. I don't
Like,
think
it
he's part of their
makes sense,
faction.
Because then you go under. Yeah, I just fucking.
It's time
stop
for
Chris
Jericho to go?
It's
yes,
time to go.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Go
I
away,
genuinely,
man. Go
I'll be
away.
honest. The past like 3 or 4 months, I've gotten to the minus pay-per-views because I paid money for them.
I don't watch
But when
any
he's
of
on
his
TV,
segments.
yeah, I
changed the channel.
genuinely changed the channel when
same
Jericho's
way.
on TV.
It's that
now.
bad.
Like
And
I'm
I
just
hate it
sick
because
of
I
them.
really Big Bill, the pop he got.
Yeah.
Big Bill got probably a top 3 pop of the whole pay-per-view. Just Big Bill. Which I don't understand. They asked him about it last
Right.
night on Dynamite. They were like, "What the? Why do they love
from
him so
London?
much in UK?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
fucking know.
Oh, he's from London?
Oh no!
no,
I
no.
thought you meant was the pop.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
just like a New York kid.
Yeah.
But the pop was fucking crazy. I'm like, what did I miss? Where he's like,
Right.
It's
Shout
like
out to
some
Big
Scott
Bill.
Norton in Japan shit. It was weird.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't.
I wonder if
understand
it's the Enzo Cass thing.
Maybe,
because like
'cause
they were
over as
huge,
fuck.
and they had. Did they wrestle at Takeover London? For some reason, I have vague
Maybe.
memories of them being there
Yeah,
and like
but
the
it was
crowd
weird. The
being
pop
into
he
them,
got
but
was bigger than like some of the main stars.
Yeah.
but
it was almost bigger than Osprey's, and
Yeah,
Osprey's
yeah.
fucking from England.
yeah, exactly.
Although,
Yeah,
I mean,
that. I mean that.
Oh,
match.
Big
We
Bill
wanna
is
talk-
big cast. Guys,
Yes,
I've like, listen, I don't know a damn thing about it's been
Big Bill's big
literally
cast.
No, that's-
months
that's-
since I've watched
Yeah,
AEW.
so that's who
months,
Jericho's.
so.
You know, he had a nice revamp with Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
and then they won tag titles and everything. And now
Shout out
he's
to Big
probably
Bill.
WWE bound
Yeah,
Ricky
Ricky
Starks.
Starks is officially gone from AEW. If you haven't seen, Ricky Starks is gone. Of course, most likely to show up on WWE.
Yeah.
He's been backstage at many WWE
Yes, I
events.
mean,
in
him
the
and
last
Cody
few
are
months.
great
Yeah,
friends,
Him and Cody
so.
are great friends. So, yeah, I'll be excited to see when he shows up. Maybe a
Yeah.
Rumble. Do they hold out that long?
I
Is
could
it
see
sooner.
I could see them even starting him in NXT.
Okay, that'd be
I
cool.
could.
too.
I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen, but
Like
I
an
wouldn't be
Ethan
surprised.
Page?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that'd
Like just
be
give him a
fun.
couple months down there, get
Yeah.
used to the WWE
That makes
style, and
sense.
then call him up.
I think it's done wonders for Ethan Page. So
I
far,
completely
so,
agree. Yeah,
that'd be
and
nice.
Joe Hendry, because once
Yeah,
his
yeah.
TNA's contract's up, there's a great
Yeah,
chance
he's
he
staying.
just goes main roster as opposed to stays in NXT. So
Yep. So yeah,
But yeah.
Osprey and MJF delivered. Was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
great match
throughout.
But yeah, Danielson Swerve was the match
Was
of the
the
night.
match.
It's
It's-
a board. It's not to me, but it's a
Match of the year
candidate for match
It
of
is
the year.
absolutely
Absolutely,
a match of the year candidate.
It reminded me a lot of Cody Roman from WrestleMania.
Yep.
Not the same level because it's Swerve's title reign isn't Roman's,
Yeah.
and Brian
No
hasn't
fault
had
of
this
his
2 year
own,
story, but like the emotion of it felt
Oh my God.
similar
Yeah.
to that.
And it was so good. The two of them were amazing
Yeah.
together in the ring. The chemistry, obviously,
Them
I want to
Washington
give.
boys.
I can't give Swerve enough credit because we've talked about it a lot. I think he was handed a pretty raw deal for his title run in terms of how they presented him, how they positioned him, how they championed their main champion. But he did a great fucking
was
job,
an
man.
incredible
He was
run.
so good in that match. The way his promos and everything he's been doing lately has
Yeah.
been amazing. Even in the match when he took Danielson over to the family, him and
he made his kids cry.
doing the fucking
Like,
dance
yeah.
in front of Birdie and Buddy, like that was amazing.
I
And
always find like my brain just thinks about the fact that like Swerve shouting basically at Danielson's kids, and I'm thinking, I bet like 30 minutes ago he was playing with
Oh,
those
100%,
kids
yeah.
in the back to try to like
'cause that's what
warm
you
him
think-
up to when he does the
I
thing.
always think back to Mankind and the Rock. Was it Behind the Curtain? What's the movie?
Oh,
Is it Behind the Curtain?
Beyond the Mat.
Beyond the Mat, where the Mankind and Rock are
Yeah.
backstage talking about it, where fucking Mankind gets destroyed with all
Yes.
those chair shots, and they're telling him like it's okay, like this is Daddy's friend, and
Right.
Rock's playing with the kids, and the kids are still destroyed, hysterical,
yeah.
to the point where they need to be taken away.
Yes.
And at one point they do the close up on Birdie, and she's crying, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, they sucked me in now. Now I'm ready to fucking cry
Yeah.
because Brian Danielson's career is about to end. Like,
Also, it's got to be kind of terrifying to see your dad a bloody mess, getting kicked in the chest a bunch of times, but he's shouting at you, "I love you, I love you,
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
you." Like that's got to be.
and
that's
Swerve's
a
like,
core,
look at your father.
Right.
Look at your father. Not with his accent. It was, oh my God.
Like that's got to be a core memory for that kid.
Yeah, that's-
like she's gonna remember that forever.
Yeah, like they're back at school today, and
Yeah.
they're like, how was your summer? And it's like, well, this was my summer. Like
Everything is pro wrestling.
Yeah.
this
Even,
is my
e-
trip to
fucking
London.
crazy,
even
man.
trauma
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
pro
100%.
wrestling as well.
100%.
Plenty of it.
Shout out
Blunt
to
force
Bree.
and mental.
Yeah, like that match, it had everything.
Yeah.
Everything. The false finishes to the finish. Like you said, Danielson just being destroyed, and as he's getting kicked, standing up, and as he's getting hit, screaming to them.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. It sucked me in every possible way, man. I popped like crazy when he won.
Yeah.
It was everything it should have been.
Yes,
Everything it should have been. Yeah.
this is a solid main event. I now love the fact that All In does feel like it's AEW's WrestleMania.
yeah. Yep.
So like, I'm intrigued to see how it's gonna work in Texas.
Yeah.
Like,
At
that's
Globe
gonna be
Life in a
interesting.
stadium. That's gonna be interesting. But I do and I was thinking about that because you go from all in to all out.
Yeah.
And I like how they kind of position that, and it made me think like, all right, well, you have WrestleMania, and then that's like the end of something, the start of a new, and then you have your SummerSlam's your next big one. Like, how cool would it be for AEW to, lack of better terms, go all in? All in is our big one where we wrap everything up, and then we don't wait. We come back in 2 weeks and we give you All Out as our second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and now that's how we start all those new storylines with big. Like, I would love, and I think they kind of do it.
It does,
but,
especially
like,
this year.
Lean the fuck into it, because
Yeah.
that's how you differentiate yourself.
Right.
Like, how WWE's got them set up every few months. Quarterly essentially, you're getting your big ones. Like, no, fuck that. Go into that back-to-back in the summer, start the fall.
Yeah.
Hit them over the head and try to control at least that bit of timing. I think it's something creative and different they can do and lean into to differentiate themselves.
I agree. Just if you're going to keep them on pay-per-view, don't make both of them $50.
Yeah.
Fucking insane to
That
ask
is the-
people to spend $100 in a 2-week span.
Yeah, we need you to, like,
Which, I mean, I'm going to do
sync
it
up with
because
somebody.
they fucking have me by
I
the
know.
ball sacks.
Shout out
but
to my man
I got
Josh.
bootleg. If you need bootleg, let me know.
Shout out to my man
I might-
Josh.
I might
He's
hit you
got
up on
Bleacher
that.
Report. We go half on every pay-per-view, so it's 25 instead of 50, so it's a little easier. And yeah, you can obviously replay, and I went back and watched that match again the next morning.
Yeah.
Because it was that good.
I spend my actual money, and then I let my dad use my Bleacher Report account to make up for all those years he bought WWE pay-per-views for me when I was a kid.
Okay.
That's fair play.
I mean, I don't do that. Don't look into this AEW. Like this, that's just an example. Like, for example, I don't actually do
That's
that.
fair play. I think that's fair play.
Right to you, man. Can we get black boxes back?
I'm
Seriously.
just
all
a
the
bootlegger.
foreign technology we have today, we can't get
I don't even-
updated black boxes.
I don't even need
I mean,
that.
I got like the 2024 version of it. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want me to keep it a buck, because I'm not worried about my WWE Connects because I got Peacock.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
pay for
exactly,
Peacock.
yeah.
I pay
That's
for
what
Peacock.
I'm
My
saying,
own
though, like-
password.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too. Me too. I pay
But,
I don't know what the fuck.
like,
it is
when
a
it comes
month
to,
now,
like,
but-
It's 2024. Just fucking be on HBO Max already.
But that's
guys.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying, like,
just attack. And I'm waiting for UFC to do the same thing. I know they probably
Yes.
won't, but like,
Yeah, that's even worse.
UFC charging me $70 for a pay-per-view every 2 weeks is crazy. I
and
mean,
you have to have the ESPN Plus subscription on top of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
That's
have the
some
ESPN Plus
bullshit.
subscription because I like all the other content and
Yeah.
leagues that
So
I get to
when-
watch.
when
But
do we get the TKO Endeavor app where we get all of
well, maybe
WWE? and
That's
all
Netflix
of-
probably coming.
Come on,
Like,
man,
that's what I'm saying.
Netflix.
Yeah, bring them in. Like,
Bring
come
them
on.
in. Make all the pay-per-views from UFC.
Yeah, please.
I think WWE gives you the best bang for your
Yup.
buck. It
Yes.
started with the
100%.
network, and now with the Peacock stuff and going into Netflix, being able to have every PLE with just a subscription that you're probably going to have anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially for me, I follow Premier League,
Yup.
and WWE. So that right there is worth my
Belair's
money.
back.
This
I'm
isn't an
watching Belair
ad,
on
no free
Peacock.
ads, but like this is kind of
No,
a free ad.
it's
Also, but you
man.
gotta figure like I've heard Tony Khan say the whole reason AEW pay-per-views are as long as they are is because he charges $50 and he wants to give what he thinks people is
Which
their
I
money's
can
worth.
appreciate.
I can appreciate that
But
too,
the
but you move them
fatigue
to
and
max.
exhaustion of-
They're
Yeah.
probably going to drop down to like 2-hour pay-per-views, which would be better.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
mean, you
read.
keep All In as like a 4-hour
Yep,
show.
yeah.
It's your big WrestleMania now.
Yeah,
you make the
got
big
2-day
ones
Mania,
big.
so
Exactly,
you can have
right.
a long
So
one,
like,
or potentially, if they get there, maybe a 2-day. Maybe that's it. It's all out on Saturday, all in on Sunday.
that would be sick.
Tony, yeah, I mean, come on. I've given you the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, but then he'll end up giving you 2 7-hour shows in
That's-
2 days.
that
and
is the
I
one.
don't got
Although,
time
I
for
don't
them
know.
now. Never mind then.
You know what? We worried that about WrestleMania as well, and that didn't happen.
Yeah,
because
that's
Manias
true.
used to be like 12 hours long.
Yeah.
And
They've
they're like,
been
oh
doing-
shit, is these going to be two
Trips has been
12-hour
doing
days?
a great
now?
job
Yeah.
of not going past that. Because you remember as a kid, it would usually be like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Give or take,
Like
yeah.
you knew
Yeah.
it was going to start at like 8 and it was going to end at like 10:45, and you always
Right.
had that 11 o'clock buffer in case you needed it.
Yeah.
That was great. Like, that's all we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And it's Sunday Night Heat. We had Sunday Night
Yeah,
Heat leading
yep.
into that shit. So, you
So
got
yeah,
to-
hell of a
you were
pay-per-view.
yeah.
Shout out
Solid
to them. I
show.
think AEW's in a good spot. They followed up with another good Dynamite
Yeah.
last night where you got to see Hangman and Swerve is now where we're going. Ospreay, they teased the Ricochet, but I think that's going to go different. There's some good things setting up. I think AEW is in a good spot. They
Yeah.
had their dip, but again, I think they're back elevating.
It's going to be. It's going to take a little bit, but I do think they're on the upswing.
Yep, I agree.
I'm
I agree.
very
And
much
it's
looking
funny
forward to
'cause
their
you
future.
think, like, it was last year at All In when everything went to shit.
Yeah.
Like it's everything with the Jack
It was
Perry and
Brawl
CM
In.
Punk and everything like. And that's the thing is like we already knew about the fucking fight backstage before he even fought Samoa Joe. So
Right.
that was where it really started.
Yep.
And it seems like they've gone through a year of turmoil, and hopefully now this is when they flip the switch.
Which, Tony Khan made some mentions of it in
Yeah.
the press
Oh, yeah.
conference. He did throw some, without directly mentioning him, he did throw some shade at CM Punk. Like,
I mean,
oh,
kudos
this
to
was-
him because CM Punk's been doing it in
Right.
damn near
Oh,
every
absolutely.
promo.
Yeah.
So like fair game, fair
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Well, there you go. AEW All In, the recap. Yeah, it was good for me too because I didn't watch any of it. So
this was something, I'll be honest, I meant to bring this up before we even start talking about, but something I've been thinking of since All In started, and I'm going to totally put you guys on the spot, and I feel a little bit bad
fuck.
about that, but not that bad. What would you guys say is your favorite non-WWE match of all time? Because I was thinking, like, All In's the biggest non-WWE show, maybe of all time now.
My favorite non-WWE match of all time. I'm trying. I mean, it would be WCW
Right, that's
something. Man, that's tough. I mean, because the thing is, like, when you talk about matches in the WCW, like post NWO, like the NWO run, I mean,
It's not the in-ring
outside of the
quality.
cruiserweights, you weren't getting 5-star bangers.
To be fair, even during the NWO run, outside the cruiserweights, you weren't getting great
No,
matches
that's what I'm
either.
saying. That's what I meant. I meant
Which
during.
makes me
like,
think
right.
of Eddie
From-
and Ray at
as
Halloween
Havoc
Havoc,
96,
97.
Yep.
that Ray
Fucking
Ray
killer match.
fit
Yep.
with the purple.
Yeah.
That's up there. I mean,
Shout out to the guys I showed you that Shawn Michaels all over print shirt I got.
Yeah.
The white one, the same guy who did that just did a really cool, like very like cartoon Venom, like the cartoon-ish. I'll show it to you guys. Shirt where on the front it's got Eddie standing over Ray, like ripping the mask. And then on the back, the Halloween Havoc logo is fucking.
oh,
That's
that's sick.
sick.
That is fucking
That's
sick.
sick.
If I'm talking WCW, my favorite match, again, you can go with the technical stuff, but as a kid, honestly, I didn't really give a fuck much about the technical
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I honestly still kind of don't. Like, that's why I'm not really an AEW guy.
That's fair.
Because, like, I don't need the spot fest and all that shit. Whatever.
That's what's great about wrestling is there's
Exactly.
some
You got
for
something for
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
And I see, the thing is, AEW wasn't always like that. I feel like they kind of made their way that way
It's like once Cody left.
with the bloating of the roster and whatever. I'm not going to go down that road. No tribalism here. But I think about like a match that I first think of when I think of outside of WWE was when Goldberg beat Hollywood Hogan in the Georgia Dome. Was it? That was on the
Nitro.
Georgia
Yep.
Dome.
Yeah.
On Nitro. I remember me and my brother watching it. We were absolute Goldberg marks.
The pop.
Crazy Goldberg marks. Hated Hollywood Hogan. And just the pop was insane. Hogan playing the chicken shit heel perfectly. Goldberg hitting him with that jackhammer. Like, seeing Hogan go up like that, you just never saw it.
Nope.
Hogan never took a bump like that. So seeing all that to me stands out as like a core memory outside of WWE for sure.
That's fair. The craziest thing about that match to me is the biggest proof that WCW cared more about winning the Monday Night rating than they did about the
100%.
company as a whole.
100%.
They fucking just out of nowhere, no publicity.
Nothing. On
put
a
in
roll.
40,000
on a
people
Nitro.
into the Georgia
Yep.
Dome where you could have put a pay-per-view there
Yep.
and got like
I've heard so
triple
many
the amount of
people
money
say
probably
that,
off of
like,
that.
So many people in the business say like Bischoff, like what the fuck are you thinking? You left millions of dollars on the table.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like cool. We're tuning in on Monday
In
and
the
we get to
Georgia
see this cool
Dome,
shit.
Right.
Yeah, a Nitro in the Georgia Dome.
That's what I'm saying.
And you got
Yeah.
Goldberg putting Hollywood Hogan up in a jackhammer.
As far as I know, they didn't like pre-announce that match either. Like that was announced night of.
Yeah.
was
Everyone
Hogan
was just there
versus-
knowing it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
We want to see Goldberg.
Right.
We're gonna see
and Goldberg was U.S. champion at the time.
Right.
So
So
like,
they knew he would appear.
right.
But like you could have sold that thing out if you had just promoted it more. You put a pay-per-view there, you announced the main event's Goldberg versus Hogan for the title. That's easily an 80,000 seat sellout.
What is the term I'm looking for? The Goldberg revisionists. People out there. Calm down,
Yeah,
okay?
fuck you guys.
I know maybe the last decade hasn't been the best with Goldberg. Plus
No.
his early, even this first WWE run, not great. But let's not pretend. Anybody that is a millennial age,
an enigma. That man was.
come on, man. That Goldberg
One of
was
one.
can't miss television.
Absolutely.
He was the only person in WCW that could have went week to week against Stone Cold Steve Austin at that time. He was the only person hit that. And they fucked it up still because it's WCW. But that run up until the goddamn what was it, the stun gun?
Yeah.
You got
at Starrcade '98.
was
stupid.
was amazing for a kid like me. I was 6-7 years old.
I had all the figures. I remember
walkout-
having the, like 12-inch Goldberg figure.
Yep.
It wasn't even like the regular one. It was like this big one. All the he probably kept WCW in business for at least another year solely off of all the shit
absolutely.
he
Oh, my
sold,
God.
all the merch he sold, all the
And I know
things he
it's
was in.
Very ironic that I'm wearing like a Bret Hart inspired. Shout out to Big Puck
Yes,
and off
sir.
the shout out to Big Puck and off
Killer
the rope.
Cam.
Killer Cam Bret Hart collab here. Off the rope is and Big Puck are the GOAT. But Goldberg was the shit, and like he has some of my favorite memories in wrestling history. I'm sorry.
Yo, same.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
That match
actually.
was when you said that was one of the first matches I thought of. That exact match. That was one of the first one WCW. I think if I'm going with one, it's Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega.
That's one
Wrestle
that's high
Kingdom.
up on mine as well.
I forget which Wrestle Kingdom.
11.
Number 11. That fucking match.
That's an
that
incredible
was, and I was
match, yeah.
just like getting into New Japan. I remember I forgot what site it was on. I was watching. I was really, really getting into it. And that match, I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck have I been missing over here? Like, that match was insanely good. And they went for an hour.
Pretty much.
For an hour.
Very random here. This is definitely not like I had, talk about the black box. My grandfather had the black box, used to record every pay-per-view, WCW, WWF. And we had, for some reason, I used to play on repeat. The 1991 Halloween Havoc was just on repeat, which was the year I was born. So obviously, like, it was something my grandfather had in his pile of VHS.
You would have been like a month old at that point, too.
Yes, exactly. And the first match on the card is the electric chair match.
That's the open?
That's the open.
Oh, I always thought that was the main event.
No, that was the open of the pay-per-view.
That's hilarious.
Abdullah the Butcher, Cactus Jack, Diamond Stud, a.k.a. Scott Hall, Big Oz, a.k.a. Kevin Nash. Who else was in that? It's just an absurd match. Absurd match.
There's no way that happened.
Electric chair match. They put a guy. Was it Abdullah the Butcher?
Abdullah the Butcher.
He ended up
and
taking.
it's the one where Cactus Jack's the one that flips the switch because he
the
thinks
switch
somebody
keeps
else
breaking.
Yeah,
the switch just flops. So he's like, "Fuck!" Like the switch broke. It was just.
That's classic.
It was a fucking mess.
That match is classic early WCW.
Oh,
that
so
definitely
good.
Had, and shout out to him and also R.I.P. to him because we didn't cover Kevin Sullivan. That match.
Oh, that's right.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Sullivan booked that match.
Oh, I would be shocked if he didn't.
Booked that match.
That has his fingerprints all over it.
All over it.
Yep.
That was just such a just. These aren't 5-star bangers by any means.
But it's what you remember.
It's what you remember.
They're fun though. That's the thing. They're fun.
Remember.
Just all the old. That was our streaming platforms back then. Was like,
VHS
hopefully you had an OG that recorded something on VHS from the 80s. Because my mom, I'll never forget, filmed a home video over. I think it was SummerSlam '88 when the Mega Powers.
Yep,
that was 88 or 89.
89. No, 88 because it's Mania at 89.
Yeah, so the Mega Powers and
the first SummerSlam 88.
Yeah, and I'll never forget it because it's literally at the end of the home movie is Hogan and Macho with fucking Miss Elizabeth, and that's so it's like all of our home movies, and then the very end of SummerSlam '88 because my mom recorded over it.
It's family now.
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
now
gone.
part of the
I don't know where the
family.
tape is now, to be honest, which is sad.
It was family for a while.
It was family for a while.
That's absolutely what you'd go to Blockbuster and rent that month's pay-per-view.
Yeah,
when it came out.
Or you read it in WWF magazine.
Or that. Yep.
That was like another vivid memory. Is like I remember going on vivid like it was yesterday. Going into Blockbuster. Royal Rumble '92 with all of them on the
my god!
I remember seeing that on
cover.
The shelf. Like,
such a dope
poster
cover.
is so incredible.
Yes,
best Rumble.
Best
Rumble.
Absolutely.
And just
tear
Rumble
in my
in terms
eye.
of the names that were in that fucking Rumble.
So it's the best Rumble match. I don't think it's the best Rumble pay-per-view though. I do
No,
think
no,
they're better
no,
overall
no,
show.
no,
But yeah, no, I get it. The actual
just
Rumble
the poster,
match.
the graphic.
I
think best Rumble graphic.
I think that poster might be best poster ever.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like forget Royal Rumble
Crazy.
poster, just poster in general. That might be the best poster ever. It's
and
so
also.
good.
Agreed. Still best Rumble ever. The actual Rumble match. Hogan somehow still kind of almost ruined it at the end.
Yes,
there.
because he has to be eliminated by full circle moment here. Sid,
and pulling come on.
just let Flair eliminate you, man.
That's just it's so stupid.
It's bad enough you're not willing to work with him at Mania. Just let him fucking eliminate
He
you.
tried to ruin it. Thankfully, it was such a good Rumble, and then the classic Flair.
The Flair
promo afterwards
saves
with
the whole
Heenan,
thing.
and it's just fucking insane. Great trip down memory lane there.
But to answer,
I'm gonna think more about this favorite match.
To answer my own question that I asked, for me, it's Danielson versus Nigel from Ring of Honor Unified.
Where they slapped the shit out of each other at the end, and I
where
saw
Nigel
that clip.
slams into the ring post, he just instantly starts bleeding.
Also,
and
is that the one where at the end? And I saw a clip the other day, and it was someone posted like my favorite Ring of Honor match of all time: Nigel versus Daniel Bryan. It was the finishing sequence where they're slapping the shit out of each other, and then they headbutt each other. And McGuinness splits Daniel Bryan wide open, just off of the headbutt.
That match.
I was watching that the other day, and I hadn't saw that full match, and I was like, I need to go back and watch this full match.
It's a 5-star classic. I am somebody who loves technical aspects of wrestling, and that's the match that got me in. Like, I didn't really follow indie wrestling that much, and I heard about that match, so I checked it out, and ever since then, I've been hooked on it. So,
Yeah, I got to definitely watch it, especially now if we're going to get that feud.
Yeah.
And I'm more excited now because Nigel looked great.
He looked
And
incredible.
fucking Brian looked great. So, like,
Yeah.
yes, please give me that.
Yeah, and soon because Brian Danielson is probably going to need surgery soon.
Yeah,
like that man is also.
He
in
also
rough
scared
shape.
me last night. I thought he was going to give the belt up last night. Like he almost he almost had me. So
There you go. I love that. It's a good question there, Flanaban.
Yeah, I like
that.
that.
A little
we
impromptu.
put that out to the viewers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by all
Let us
means, hit us up.
What's
Let us know your favorite.
WWE match. Yeah, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know.
There's some classics out there.
Oh,
plenty,
absolutely.
plenty of
There's
classics.
so many we didn't even touch on.
Mine definitely stem mostly from.
I mean, the whole
80s and
Flair
90s.
Steamboat rivalry of '89.
Yeah.
All three of those are
Flair-
fucking incredible.
There's definitely a Flair and Sting match that ranks up there too.
Yep.
Their Clash match is great. Flair and Sting's.
When Sting wins the belt? Is that that one?
That's Bash at the Beach.
Bash at the Beach.
No,
Yep.
not Bash at the Beach. Great American Bash.
Great American Bash.
90.
90. I think 90. Yeah. Yep. Where
And
they lift them up.
Yeah. And it's
That's
Sting
another one.
Flair. Great match as well.
Classics.
Yeah.
Classics.
Fucking Flair. Even Flair. Speaking of Flair, because he's fucking always Flair. At the gimmick, like he sent out a tweet about Sid, and it was like, Sid, I want to send out, condolences to Sid. Even though in business we couldn't work together. Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking always.
Everything he
fucking
works,
Flair.
he
It's
just
always the
works
gimmick,
himself
man.
into a shoot.
It's always the gimmick.
This was like maybe a month or so ago, but did you guys see ESPN put out the top 100 athletes of the 21st century? And Ric Flair was
yeah.
all pissed off that he wasn't
Yeah.
listed in that.
That list
And it's
also
like, well,
was
two
shit.
things. It was,
That list
but
was
also
shit,
it's like
bro.
two things. One, you're a pro wrestler, and
Yeah.
that's probably not going to get
Yeah.
picked based on the.
Even though a lot, yes.
Oh, also, you were the 20th century, Rick, not 21st century.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And
Don't
the
tell him
19th,
that.
Rick. And the 19th, Rick. You've been
Rick,
around
yeah,
a long
I mean, yeah,
fucking
you've been
time,
around
Rick.
Come
Right.
on, didn't you see Ric Flair's last match?
Which
That was
one?
a classic.
Which one?
The most recent one, when he probably
son-in-law?
died 4 times on there. Yeah, his son-in-law.
There'll be
It
another one.
gave me emotions, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Fear, mostly. I was
yeah.
afraid he was about
Anxiety?
to die. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like all the stewardess on that plane.
Inside Out 2. Yeah, we have a PLE this weekend,
Yeah, we
folks.
Yeah.
A 1 p.m. PLE.
We love a European PLE.
They're so good.
Gets going. Early bird special.
Not only 1 p.m., 1 p.m. on a Saturday on top of it.
Saturday.
Makes it even better. On
I'm
a
actually-
3-day weekend.
It's going to be cutting it close for me because I'm actually DJing the Rhode Island FC game
Nice.
pre-match on Saturday, but it's going to be like cutting it close. That means
see,
nothing
but
to
that's
you.
why I love
but
it, because like I'll usually get to those games around 5, and I'm like, perfect. The pay-per-view will probably end
Perfect
at
timing.
like 4:30.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
Again, we're sticking to the classic Triple H 5-match card, it looks like, which is I love. I think that's
Yeah,
very
it's
nice.
working.
5-match B shows. Because to be fair, Mania and SummerSlam
Yeah,
are
well,
both
right,
more.
right.
So like, which
But-
is good. I like the bigger
That
shows
makes
getting
sense.
more matches. The B shows getting 5.
And we have a lot of gold being fought for, but not all gold, because you have 2 matches that include very good storylines that have been months in building up towards. So we'll start with one of the championship matches. We'll start with the women's tag team championship. We were surprised by these winners when they won it in Scotland. Alba Fire
although
and Isla
looking
Dawn.
back on it, like in hindsight, it makes total sense.
No, it does. Yeah,
They were the only Scottish people to pick up wins, so like give the hometown a win, and they were the only ones who were gonna get a win. So like,
I also.
They've done a good job.
We're gonna get shout out to women, but
shout out to all women.
yeah, shout out to women.
We might take a hiatus, but that never takes a
Never.
No. Shout out to women for sure. Isla Dawn just
Oh my God.
just
Isla.
that's nothing else I have to say about
Yeah.
that. Just
Yes.
yes.
She's the one.
She's good.
Yes,
Very good. In the ring, in my mind.
out of the ring.
Yeah. I
in
just
my-
love to see her
in my
talk.
dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Shout out to women. Do we expect Bianca and Jade to pick them back up, or do you think this is going to be
I
they
don't.
lose and they start building their own feud
That's
there?
I think this
Yeah.
is leading to
Yeah?
the split.
Because you think
Yep.
they're like, were they going to do it again?
Exactly,
That's
because
what
like
I'm
know-
going to win and start this. No.
Like, if
I can't see them winning.
if they win, it just feels like we've gone back, not forward.
Yeah,
Right.
if they win, it's a signal to me that something went wrong.
Yes.
Like the way we plan this out, and we know Trips and them, they plan out 6 months, a year, God knows ahead. That tells me something went wrong.
Yeah.
Because at
Yeah.
this point, that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't make any
Right.
sense with the way it was shaped. And granted, this was a lot of us thinking, but I think even the average wrestling fan knows, okay, at a certain point, someone's turning here.
Yes.
Like, it has to happen.
Yeah.
I'm
And
still
it-
holding out hope it's Bianca.
And it's
but
same. But it's also always felt like the plan was to turn to lead to those two at Mania.
yes, yeah.
Where like if they're gonna win, is it next year's Mania then
That's
that they're
what I'm
gonna face
saying.
each other?
And I
Like
think again, like, and I know like these builds are long builds, but no, I think this year's Mania, you still have plenty of time.
Yeah.
If, say, and it could be Saturday where they don't lose and something happens and whatever, and it could happen in that moment. I
Yes.
don't think it'll happen in that moment. But you can start it now. You still got plenty of time till Mania. Plenty
Absolutely.
of time.
It's what, like 6 months still till Mania?
You can have them
this year it's farther back. It's the end of April now, so you have even more time this year.
In Vegas.
But the other thing, though, is like, don't wait too long. Sometimes Triple H waits too long.
Yeah.
Like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, perfect example of that. How the fuck is that turn not happened already?
Right.
How are we still building to that?
Well, maybe they just don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, who are they going to feud with? Like, Grayson Waller, I like Grayson Waller. I think he's a great, you know, personality.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good gimmick. Obviously, Austin Theory is somebody that Vince was very high on. Who do they feud with? They just work together right now as a couple stooges that can go.
Right.
I think that's kind of why.
That's why you
stuck.
split them up, though. Split them up, have them feud with each other, and then one of them goes for the U.S. title. One of them goes after somebody else. Like,
yeah, that is a good way to look at it. Like, we got two guys who don't know what to do with them. Oh shit! And I think that's what the initial thought was: put them together as a team.
Right?
How cool! You can buy yourself another 6 months to a year if you have them feud. And then who knows? It might be good. Like again, Waller's the talker. Theory's the worker. It could be a really good feud.
Right. Especially on SmackDown, which to me feels like it has a very thin mid card at the moment.
Because they're gonna make Theory the face.
Of course, they're gonna make Theory the face because Waller works so much
He's
better.
so good as a heel.
But I don't
But
know.
he also, I don't know. I could see him also getting some pops for like being funny.
Yeah. He would be that heel where the
But
crowd
not, but
loves
like,
him 'cause he's
but I
a
could see it working as a babyface too.
But you run the risk of him being like discount R-Truth.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
you don't want to do that.
That's true.
I mean, is he really much more than that? In my opinion, I don't
As
know.
a
Like,
heel,
it's such
though,
a.
it's different. That's my thing. Like, it works different. It comes across different.
It's just such a loaded. Yeah, sorry, that the other one.
Okay, I was
Twist that. Yeah, no, we had turkeys and sunlight. Turkeys and sunlight. There you go. Yeah. So either way, we're not expecting Bianca and Jade. To, I agree. I don't
think they win them.
It just doesn't make sense for them to do it again.
Right.
Like, you know, this is kind of something they probably wanted to see out and be like, hey, we dropped them, you get another chance, and now you're going to build something towards, maybe if it's not right away with Bianca and Jade, it's at least going to start where they're going to begin maybe their feud. Right. Jade's still pretty green in the ring, so obviously working with Bianca makes sense for it to be her first solo feud. To be like, hey, I trust being in the ring with you.
Right.
You know, we can work on stuff together as a tag team, and the chemistry is obviously there. They're very good friends, so that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we expect no change there for the women's tag team championship.
I think they hold on. Kudos to them. I thought they've had a good run. They've stayed relevant. They've done a great job of performing when they needed to. But also, Isla's great on the mic, and shout out to them. I don't know that they thought they were going to get this run, or anybody thought they were going to get this run.
I definitely did not. I think that and you know, I don't hate it. I think they're good in the ring.
Just don't drop the belts to the Pure Fusion Collective.
Oh my god! What the worst faction name? Did that happen while we were on hiatus too? Oh my god!
Yeah, Triple H. The one
remember when I put them in all caps?
Of the Renaissance era is faction names. Yeah, most of them have been bad lately.
I know. What else have we had?
Pure Fusion
We've
Collective.
Had American Made.
American Made. Yep.
What does Pure Fusion Collective even mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing.
What does that mean? Actually,
that's what I'm saying. I don't get it.
Maybe I'm dumb. What does that mean?
It's
and I
like
like them.
buzzwords.
I
It's
like
like
the
pure
three of them.
Yeah, they're great. They're a great stable.
Yeah.
Just a bad name.
I don't like it.
I feel like even when they hear that name said out loud, sometimes it looks like they're trying to hold back like a laugh. Like,
that's my thing.
The fuck are we doing
like
here?
Now more, you would think the wrestlers are having more input on the names and on these things. But with that one, originally my thought was, oh shit, maybe they did come up with that. But then I'm like seeing it, I'm like, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Same with American Made.
I'll be honest.
Who's coming up with these?
If it turns out the three of them came up with Pure Fusion Collective, back to NXT.
Banish them.
They go back down to NXT.
Yeah, that was
so they can come up with a better name.
That was an L. That was an L for name-wise.
Name-wise. The group itself is great.
And that's the thing, too. And also, it's like you can have a name like that, but if you push them to the moon, we would care less. But they're not going to get pushed to the moon because it doesn't make sense to push them to the moon right now. So it just
also, how do you push to the moon a group called Pure Fusion Collective?
I know.
Like, that doesn't feel like a top-notch team.
No. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
It doesn't. No. It doesn't. No.
Not even PFC rolls off the tongue if you want to like shorten it.
Yeah, I feel like that's something to do with the Army, right?
There's no good way to say that team name.
Is that an Army term, a PFC?
No, I'm thinking of PSC.
Private First Class.
Private First Class, yeah.
See, I was thinking PSC, Pimp Squad Click.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Oh, PFK, Professional Fat Kid. I remember a lot of people used to say
I was also thinking KFC.
Okay.
I am a fat kid, and I do enjoy some KFC.
Yeah,
they're delicious.
I had Chick-fil-A for lunch. So.
Yeah, oh,
respect. Fuck yeah.
I might have it for dinner.
But dude, who knows? You should have it for dinner. It's a solid move.
I'm going to be honest.
They have options. You can get more than just what you got, whatever, at lunch.
I got a chicken sandwich. I'll get a spicy next time.
Fuck yeah.
That's good.
Get them waffle fries.
I actually got the mac and cheese. I like
That's a good call too.
Mac and cheese is good, but
It's
waffle
good for me.
fries.
Oh, no, that's solid.
Go
Do
to
we just do we put podcasts on pause and go get Chick-fil-A?
I know. Yeah, we'll be back.
You guys want to come with us?
What's the screen with the music?
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We come
in 10
back.
minutes.
Oh shit! All right, we got one match down.
Got greasy ass fingers, like our faces are just shining from all the fucking
We also
chicken
just
grease.
have KFC cups.
Yeah,
I mean,
Chick-fil-A
Chick-fil-A
cups.
Or both. Maybe we went to KFC to get drinks.
Flanabam's chugging a chocolate shake.
You really
Fuck
wanted
yeah.
to buy hot black?
Yeah.
Dude, no, that's Taco Bell.
Oh fuck. Oh, but remember the two where they were together?
Yes. God, those were the days.
Taco Bell,
Taco Bell and
KFC.
KFC, yeah.
Because they were owned by the same parent company.
That would,
Yeah.
Oh my god, there was a couple of them like that
Yeah.
together. Oh fuck yeah, we're really getting fat here. Shit.
Yeah. Sorry. I can do that very easily. As case in point.
I could really go for some chicken fingers. All right. Mixed tag match. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, Dominic and Liv. I think this would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about mixed tag matches. I'm just going to be honest.
Oftentimes I'm not.
I'm not crazy
Unless
about
they're
them.
gonna let her do what she did to JD the other day.
That would be nice. I'm sure they'll
She's
take.
absolutely hitting Dom with
She's
a
has-
Yeah,
rip tag.
there's definitely going to be some bumps there,
But
but
you
like,
also know you're not gonna get Damian and Liv in the ring.
yeah,
Exactly,
I
right.
think
So it's
to
like,
me it makes timing
Or
weird.
if they are, like, it's just going to be Liv slapping Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be the timing of mixed tag matches are always just strange to me, especially
Yeah.
these days where I mean, I feel like they've been letting it more loose than they did maybe the last 15 years when
Yeah.
it comes to like men and women fighting each other.
On the indies, 10
Oh,
years
yeah,
ago, you'd have a fucking man beating the shit out of a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
You go someplace now, you'll
Vice
see
versa.
it.
Yeah.
So like,
I
or vice
mean-
versa. So like, there's some where it's just like, I'll take it, but you're never gonna see that in WWE.
No.
You're not gonna see that in the big companies who are on mainstream TV. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, with all the sponsors
Yeah,
they
it's
have,
not, it's
like
not,
that,
it's
they
never
gotta-
gonna happen.
I've always said if you emphasize that it's a sport, if you emphasize that they're fighting for sport,
Yeah.
why couldn't you do it? This isn't just like I hate you, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, even though I weigh 200 more pounds than you.
I think in this aspect, you actually have to emphasize that it's entertainment.
Fair
Because
play.
if you emphasize that it's
yeah.
a sport, it's now more like, all right, well, the male has the, people will look at it as like, well, one of them has a competitive advantage over the other.
Yeah, you're gonna have all the people from
Exactly,
the Olympics
yes,
who were saying that's
exactly.
all women. Why is she fighting?
So now, if you
Actually, a woman.
emphasize
Yeah.
that it's entertainment, that it's a predetermined thing, more people would get
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
them. Like,
that-
oh, it's like
yeah.
a movie. Like,
Yeah, it's
when I watch
scripted,
Black Widow beat the shit out of guys in a Marvel movie, I get it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like you got to emphasize that aspect of it more.
The story has been great.
Rhea beating up Dom is very believable.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
it's
believable. She's could beat the shit out of three of us
I
at
think
the
that
same
one's gonna
time.
be fun.
Yes.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun because of the storyline and everything.
Right.
It's gonna be fun, and we know it's gonna be running. It's gonna be all sorts
Yes.
of shit. But like, yeah, in terms of like wrestling match, no,
It'll be fine.
It'll be cool.
It's just- it's gonna
I
be fun.
You'll have your cool spots, and
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe Ray gets involved.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because they had the long match on Raw on Monday night between LWO and the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which, thank God Dragon Lee's finally fucking back.
Yeah.
Where the fuck had he been for
Seriously.
months?
forever.
no,
Yeah, 'cause
that was
even, like,
actually a really good match. That match was
was
like
a good
entertaining
match.
as fuck.
That was a
Solid.
good match. Start the show. It was
Yeah.
good. The energy was there. It
Long-
was,
they
yeah.
gave him a long time.
Yeah.
And some of those spots that they do, like the
Crazy.
the ropes,
When they
Yeah.
launch him, dude.
Some of those spots are just insane.
Yeah.
Even though one of those two dudes, I don't know their names. One of them's put on some weight and shaved, and now he looks like a totally different person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
their
that's
names. Wild-
Cruz del
Wild
Toro.
and Cruz del Toro and something Wild.
And Joaquin
Joaquin
Wild's the one
Wild
that
is
stands
the
on the
one
ropes
that
that they
jumps.
shoot off.
Cruz
Do
del
we
Toro,
feel
he's gotta grow the
like-
facial hair back?
Yes.
Ray and Dom, I get it. Father son. I mean, the storyline
Yeah.
is built in.
yeah.
You know how like when you used to play like the old WWE video games, and you go through a few seasons, and the storylines would almost like you'd always end up fighting this
Same
like
thing.
there'd be
Yeah.
one storyline where it'd always be the same person coming out. You're like, this again.
Yeah.
That kind of
That's
feels
Dom
like
and
that's
Ray.
like Dom and Ray to me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay.
I think now-
put you in your place, son. Deadbeat dad.
It's
Is it now for Mania 2025?
We just
It's
been doing
probably-
that.
where
But didn't
there
they already
is,
fight at Mania?
yeah, 39.
Together.
No, against
No,
each
against
other.
each other.
That is right. That did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we don't need that
I
again.
forgot that.
We're
But
good.
the rumor I always read was Ray wants his last match to be a tag with.
Oh, with Dom. That makes
So
more
I think
sense.
that's where
So
maybe
this
not
is how
this
it
year,
start-
but
yeah, 'cause it's gonna be a
next
while
year,
before we get back to that.
They're
with the
eventually
Judgment Day
gonna,
shit.
yeah, they're
Unless,
eventually,
unless
they're
Ray's
eventually
gonna
gonna
turn, and that ain't happening.
Nah,
That would be kinda
imagine,
sick.
that would actually be
Heel
kinda
Ray.
Would be
sick.
cool.
That'd be
Have
kind of
we
sick.
ever seen?
No.
I mean, no. We've seen like.
Ray, I think Ben
Fake?
faces. Well,
I think in
outside of
WCW, was a
WCW,
couple, maybe when he had no
when he had no
mask.
mat, yeah, when
I
he was
think
in like
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Conan was a little more heelish, but he
Or,
wasn't. Even
what was that
a
say with the
fucking
Filthy Rascals?
Something
Yeah,
like
Dirty
that.
something. Dirty Rascal, something like that?
But
What a
yeah,
name.
Even that wasn't like the typical heel.
Filthy
No, no, it was-
Rascal. Who
yeah.
came up with that name?
Probably
Filthy
Conan.
Rascal. No, was it Conan's grandfather?
Yeah.
Probably,
I never
yeah.
hear anybody under the age of
Maybe
79.
like in Spanish, it sounds
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta.
You know, when
you
you
also
translate
have
it
to
to English,
remember
it doesn't
though,
hit.
like Conan's older.
Well, Conan.
So like it could have been
he's
his
up there.
era. Rascals could have been a thing when he was like a kid.
when he was a
Wale
kid.
Mania
He's also been
2.
wrestling since like 5.
Right.
Wale Mania 2 in Dallas, 2016. We were leaving the venue. It was towards the end of the night, and Conan was just passed out on the floor, in his like VIP section. He was just laid out. No, I think he was high as fuck, and he like passed out. He just like fell back. He just greened out. But shout out to Conan.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
We don't know anything.
Conan.
No,
We
I
love
love
Conan.
Conan's
We
the man.
fucking love Conan.
Listen,
so.
I was a Conan mark.
Yeah, I love. I'm
Conan.
dead. The Orale, I mean, like what that every fucking time.
When Conan went to the Wolfpack, dude, I was lit.
He was the coolest one.
Yeah,
He gave them all the street cred.
I was
he
so
fucking
happy
had-
Conan was Wolfpack
Yeah.
I mean,
because
to
I
be
was a
fair,
Wolfpack
who's his
guy.
biggest competition? Sting.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
the
Like
coolest-
Sting,
well, Kevin
Luger,
Nash.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash is
And
cool
Nash,
as fuck.
Kev is the epitome of cool. But like he gave
Big
him a
Daddy cool.
different level of like.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could go to. And I mean, well, Kev could always go to those places, but like, see, he brought Sting and Luger to some places they otherwise probably wouldn't have been able to go. So.
Wolfpack was sick. Wolfpack was sick.
They also had the
Big fuck.
dopest theme song.
Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
To this day, it
Dun,
still
dun,
hits.
So good.
dun, dun, dun.
Still hits.
Dun,
Like I'll
that-
still just put it on.
Yeah,
every
randomly.
now and
That
then.
was my ringtone in like
That's dope.
my ringtone in maybe like 2008.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah,
was just good
when ringtones
music,
were like a thing.
Yeah, that was just good music. Right
And it was like an original thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
like WCW
Yeah.
making knockoff actual songs.
But like, how good is that? Like, don't turn your back on the Wolfpack. You might find
So
you might
sick.
end up in a body bag. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Bro, they had
I
the
definitely probably
and the
got,
beat
I
underneath
probably-
it was
I definitely got
sick.
detention for saying
the actual wolf, like the red shirt with the
Looked
wolf.
so good.
Black,
You like
the
that
black
original shirt?
outline.
See, I actually liked the reverse. I like the black
with the
shirts
red
with the
wolf.
red
Yeah,
wolf.
I
I
like
thought
the
those
red
were
wolf.
sick looks.
Those are sick too, but I mean, then like
No, they had such good
just
shit,
the red
bro.
NWO, and then
Yeah.
on the back, I had
Said
one
Wolfpack for life.
Wolfpack for life, and then I remember the black and white NWO had a shirt that said "Broken Bones Rule" on the back of their shirt, and I remember my mom reluctantly bought me that. She's like, "I don't want you wearing a shirt saying "Broken Bones Rule," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "But I'm like,
That
but
was
you bought
mostly,
Nick the
yeah.
Wolfpack. I gotta wear the black and the
those were
white."
like half of the Austin shirts. I tried to convince my mom.
Right.
It was like 100% can't whoop ass or like fucking, don't try all the crazy shit.
GTA,
like,
yeah.
SOB, all the shit spelled out. She was like, well, I'm like, mom, just fucking.
Which, by the way, speaking of inappropriate shirts for kids, probably have you guys seen the new LA Knight shirt? That says-
not the people skills one.
Yeah, I lack people skills, and it's
Yeah.
LA as his logo. I'm
So
like,
bad.
that's not a good shirt.
No,
Yeah.
but also it's
Why would you
weird
brag
because
about lacking people skills?
And he has
someone
great
said
people
it.
skills.
And he
I don't
does
know-
have
yeah,
great people
so,
skills.
Someone, I don't know, it might have been Nash. Someone said it. They were like, that makes no sense. The one thing he has is
Right.
people skills. More
That
than
is
anything
his
else.
thing.
Like that's his thing. That's
Yeah.
what's gotten him over. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the shirts lately have been.
They've been
really-
not great.
Although
There's a couple.
I
I
wonder
do-
if Def Rebel's making the shirts as well as the theme songs.
I do have to get me an OTC shirt.
I was gonna say
Those are sick.
I gotta get the
that's the only
OTC.
one.
That's sick
I have my fantasy football
for your over the counter, so people know where you get your medicine from.
OTC exactly
Yeah.
over the counter.
When you come back looking like Braun Brady.
Yeah. Oh hell. Oh, just wait.
All natural. It's all natural.
My fantasy football team. I won the championship last year. No, not to brag. And I decided I had to rebrand as the champion. So I changed my name to Tribal Chief because I want everybody in the
I
league
saw
to
you
acknowledge
posted
me.
this one.
And I use an AI app to like generate me a logo. So you just type in like, I think I typed in like a guy that looks like Roman Reigns standing with his finger pointing to the sky and a crowd behind him also pointing their finger to the sky with the words Tribal Chief and a championship belt. And it made it
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
spot on. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll you go to my my Twitter at Mike D on Air. I shared it on there, and I got to get me an OTC shirt now, man. It's the name of my
the
fantasy
OTC.
football. Trying to run it
Shout out
back.
to fantasy too. Shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Chris.
Talk a
Chris
little
wants some fantasy
so-
talk. I'll give you. Well, at the end of the show, we'll give you one pick.
By the way, I like your logo because the guy, to me at least, looks a lot like Fred Warner.
Ah,
Does
49ers
kind of look like
star
Fred
linebacker.
Warner. True. He kind of looks like the Rojax version
Fred
of Roman
Warner's a
Reigns too.
Good looking man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Good looking man.
Yeah. It's a, yeah. I
As
mean,
is Roman Reigns. Good looking
Yes.
man. And also, it's funny because Roman Reigns, San Francisco 49ers fan.
That's
Being a
right.
San Francisco kid. Yeah.
I thought I just
Fred Warner would also be a great fucking. You know who Fred Warner looks like? You know the dude from Gates of Agony?
Yeah.
He looks just like that.
He
fucking
does
guy.
look
I don't
just
know
like that
fucking
guy. I can't think of his name either,
It's like comma. It's not comma, but it's like that.
Yeah.
He looks just like that.
Yeah.
That just randomly popped in.
We got a strap match on Saturday, friends. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. Yes, this feud is still going on. Yes, it's still entertaining.
Guys are putting
Yeah, it
the
is.
strap on.
Shout out to CM Punk working out in Pawtucket, Rhode Island this past week.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Right near my house.
right near my old house where I
Yeah.
was. It was pretty cool.
I remember they used to
I
always
wasn't
go to
there.
the.
I mean,
they used to
clearly you
all
can tell I
go to the
didn't go,
Gold's
but-
Gym
Yes,
North Main.
North Main.
We used to always be at that one.
But now they found the more like the gyms that are for more like the
boutique
meatheads.
gyms.
Yeah. In a respectful way,
Wow.
meatheads.
What the fuck was he doing working out here? Why was he here? Just 'cause for
Providence Raw.
Okay,
Yeah, Raw and Providence. So yeah, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre strap match. The build has been great. Just them chopping it up. CM Punk's really going all in on just whipping people with straps and belts. I think the security caught the brunt of that this past week.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did.
I think one of them caught it in the face too.
Yeah.
I think this will be fun. It's an old school type, gimmick match with two guys that can really go.
It's the Four Corners one, isn't it?
I was gonna say,
It's
I
the
love
four
that
corners.
they kept it
Yep,
authentic.
you
to
gotta
it.
drag them all four
consecutive corners. None of that bullshit.
Which I love about that is it makes it so perfect for screwy finish, so that way you get to Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, which is allegedly the outcome of this feud.
Yes. CM Punk probably wins this one.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, he has to. I think he has to.
Yeah.
Because this is very much set up to be a trifecta,
trilogy.
a trilogy.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Drew got the first one.
Yep.
Punk, I think, is going to get this one. I'm gonna need some blood. I'm gonna need to see some crimson
I'd like
masks.
to see Drew. I'd like to see Drew.
I think they're saving it for Hell in a Cell.
You think so? For
do.
Bad Blood?
For Bad Blood, exactly. I think that's where we're saving
I just
the bloodshed.
listen, the first match, we were supposed to get incredible violence, two people that couldn't touch each other for, no pun intended, for 7 months, and then they finally get let loose. There was all of these rules in place that you're going to get suspended if you touch each other before this match, and then, it was a good match, not as violent as they thought we were going to be. Now you add the implication that we're getting a strap match where essentially you have to drag a carcass to all four posts. I'm gonna need to see some blood.
So I think what we're gonna get is not blood, but because of the straps, we're gonna see the welts.
Yes.
The bruising, the blood,
cuts,
and it's
and
gonna.
scraps,
I think the payoff for that will be on Monday when they come in taped up. All this. I think that's when you'll see like the residual effects of it. You'll see some blood from the welts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I think with the strap, I think they're gonna lean more into that than the blood itself.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get blading till the Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood.
Need some blood, man.
We're not gonna have a Brian Danielson.
Exactly.
How does that man
right.
have any blood left? I don't know.
Seriously.
He is.
It's the whole reason
he's not
left
human.
allegedly,
He's not
so he
fucking
could
human.
bleed.
He's not a human being.
Dude loves bleeding.
He does. Him and John Moxley both.
Yeah. Thank God John went away. He was able to get some blood.
Yeah.
Right.
Back. Jesus.
He was just at the Red Cross for 2 months getting it pumped back
Yeah,
into him.
these
That's
dudes-
why he wasn't there.
They probably have to go get blood.
Probably.
Oh hell yeah.
Transfusion, or not transfusions.
Yeah, Darby Allin probably lives at the fucking blood bank.
Right?
It's just a lot of blood there, but I think this will be a fun match. I like
think
the
it's
old
gonna be a
school
good
implication of the having to drag them to all four posts. The strap match, you're going to see some cool spots. You're going to see some real hatred in there. Crowd is going to be crazy hot. I love me a European crowd, baby.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the crowd.
Speaking of crowds, man, I want to make sure because we're probably not going to touch on it. I want to give the Providence crowd a lot of credit on
Hell
that.
yeah.
Crazy
They were
hot.
fucking
They were
good.
incredible.
They were
Crazy hot.
man. They showed up.
That's why we're in A-Town.
Yeah.
Yes, we are in A-Town.
Not down under.
No.
Delivered, baby.
Unfortunately, none of us were there.
Nope.
But it was we decided to watch it from the comfort of our own homes.
I've actually learned something about myself over the past few years. I don't know what it is, but there's something about like the big budget, big production weekly shows that going to it doesn't interest me as much as watching it at home does.
It depends. Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I
like this is right. This is just me personally. I'm not saying for everybody. I'm not saying it's wrong to want to go. I completely understand why people would want to go. It is fun to go.
Yeah.
But personally, I like watching a Raw, a SmackDown, even the Dynamites when they've been in Massachusetts. I haven't been as intrigued to go.
I just love cheering for the good guys, telling the bad guys to fuck off.
It's a give and take.
I
think when you're there live, there's certain things, promos, backstage stuff, certain things that just don't resonate when you're there live because it doesn't feel the same in the arena, or little things you can pick up
like the
on
Wyatt,
TV.
the Wyatt Six.
Like
definitely does not
certain
translate
things,
live.
No, there's certain things that are different. But then at that point, I think there's certain things where it's live. It's like fuck, I was live. I might have caught some other things that I didn't.
Definitely
it's
in the energy,
give and take.
Right, like I still love to go to indie shows. Like I've been to quite a few that have come to Providence, and I love going to those. Those are incredible to
I
go
don't know if
to.
you guys saw the Stinger is coming to Big Time Wrestling.
Yeah, he's got
Worcester, and I think like
Big Time Wrestling guys are. I wouldn't say we're not friends, but we've done stuff with them in the past. And
I went to one of the shows they did at McCoy a couple years. Almost like
Kevin
10
Nash.
years ago now at this point. Fuck.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah,
I was there too. Well,
no, mine was the year before. Now I think Flair was at mine.
I went to.
I interviewed Flair.
Yeah, that was the one I went to.
Yeah, it was like right before he had his heart attack.
Yeah,
It was like a week or two before.
Yeah, I saw it. I was
Yeah,
like,
Big Time
oh, that could be
Wrestling.
fun.
I was there when Kevin Nash won the strap.
Okay, that was the next year. I wasn't. I was with the year
He
before.
beat who's still in Big Time Wrestling. I can't think of the guy's name. Big dude. But anyways, I met Mick Foley that night.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
because they did like a meet and greet beforehand, right?
It just
Yeah.
reminds me. I'm
We
gonna
were
get rail
backstage.
off the rails, but
Oh,
like I
nice.
remember as a kid, if I played Fail on Little League, Fail on everything, and I remember All Star Weekend, they'd have the wrestling down at the field where Nathaniel Green Middle School is down at the field. They'd have the wrestling, and it was local guys, but oh my god, we were front row. I thought I was
it's
at
the
Mania.
best, yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
like I was at fucking
Yeah,
Mania.
indie shows are
What?
great.
I'm here, not paying any money. I'm sitting front row. Mom's not yelling at me. It's not late at night. Like, oh, that was the best.
Yeah.
I've
Those are
noticed,
fun.
personally, I find indie shows more fun to go to. You feel like you're part of the show more at an indie show, I feel, than you do at like a Raw or
I would
SmackDown.
kill to go back in time to be at ECW Arena.
For real.
Or just like
I would-
a taping or so. Oh
The
my god.
two
I can't
things
imagine that.
I
I
would
can't
have
imagine
loved
You might
to have
leave
gone
there
to-
with hepatitis.
Probably.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but I probably already have that, so
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a good point.
I'd probably be the one leaving it for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Here you go, Sandman.
Patient zero.
Exactly. Right.
Come over here and give me that beer. I'm 8 years old. I'm ready to drink.
But yeah, an old school ECW show I would have loved to go
Manhattan
to.
Center Raw.
Yeah, Manhattan Center Raw.
I know that's
and
not an indie show, but that
the OG Black and Gold NXT.
okay, yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Adam Cole,
Yep.
Finn Balor era. Those felt like WWE's version of indie shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
WCW, not the Power Plant, but where they would have the Saturday morning shows where they
Yeah, the one in Disney.
Yes, that
The one that TNA used for their original
I would love to
Impacts
have
and
been
stuff.
in that
Yeah.
space. Yeah, though it's something about that. Yeah,
Cool vibes. Daddy is against the clock here, so let's get through
All
these
right.
last couple things. Gunther and Randy Orton. We know Randy Orton's not going to win this match. First of all, it's Gunther. He wasn't going to win it anyways, but it's in Berlin. He's definitely not going to win it. But I'm loving everything about Randy Orton.
yes.
I love that he addressed that the crowd is finally singing his song.
Yeah.
Which is great, and I'm glad that the crowds have adapted that as well because it is a banger. And why
So
didn't we do it before? What?
I'm at home. I was singing it.
No, I know, but I feel like
yeah.
that was a song that you could easily sing along
easy.
to.
Like, it's very easy to pick
think
up
so?
on those.
I always felt like it just. I think it's a great song, but I don't know. It always felt like.
But they talk to me
An
like to
awkward
scream
song
that
to
as a
sing.
That
crowd.
part, absolutely.
Like,
But
you
even
have
on-
to scream
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I was wrong and it worked, but like I always, to me, going into it, I always thought it felt like an awkward song.
We
sing
have
along
to give credit where credit is due. We knocked him earlier, but this is all happening because of Jericho. Like if it wasn't for
Yeah.
Judas,
Oh.
I think Judas kind of started
That's
this
why I
trend.
fucking hate
It
because
did,
they
yeah.
forced it down
That's
everyone's
the problem with
throat.
that one. though. They
did,
did it
but-
way too long.
But if you think about it,
The one they did on the Jericho cruise where it happened organically was the coolest fucking thing ever.
Or even like I remember like I think even early like Judas like there was some people
the
singing,
early
and
AEW,
then it
yeah.
just went
Actually,
fucking.
technically, we have to give it to Fandango.
oh yeah,
That's kind of where it started.
That was fun, man. That was a fun time.
That
was a fun time.
Yeah,
What would the people sing though?
they would just hum the tune. He didn't have words.
No, I know, but people would sing it in a certain way. It was like I don't know, but I remember this Fandango.
Yeah.
I was at the
That,
Mania
and
when
then
he
I forget
debuted.
the other dude's name, but he would come out with all the people like the weird, not the weirdos. That's
Oh,
like the
Adam
Misfits.
Rose.
Yeah, Adam
Yes.
Rose.
Adam Rose, yeah.
The Rosebuds.
Braun
the
Strowman
Rosebuds.
was a Rosebud.
Yep,
Yeah.
the Rosebuds.
Oh, the Rosebuds
Good
were
times.
great.
And now Joe Henry gets all the credit.
yeah. Well, I just think that it wasn't like singing the full song, like a song that
Like with words and stuff. Yeah,
With
it was more-
words.
it does feel like Judas
And I
was
think
where that
I
started.
think even the crowds too are new because did they do that with AJ's song when they popped her hand?
No, they
See,
sang
I
a
forgot.
song
There was
about AJ.
there was a-
oh
yeah,
my
France.
god, the one in France.
But there's been some songs.
Amazing.
Obviously, we see it with Cody all the time. But I've noticed
Yeah.
more and more the crowds singing it, and they're giving them space to sing it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Which
saying.
I
I,
like.
don't think we saw that as much
Yeah.
before Judas, though.
No, I
think Chris
agree.
Jericho
Yeah.
kind of started that trend as much as it
I
became
guess
very
we can give him one. We
annoying.
can give him one.
We'll give him one.
give
We'll
him
give him one W. It's hard
As,
to do
as
these days.
Spider-Man said, everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just want a good match here. You know, I want to see Gunther get
Same.
some. He's going to get some crazy pops out there
Yep.
in Berlin. I think they're going to sing for Orton too.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's
Oh,
going to
hell
be one
yeah.
of those things where it was like AJ, where he was
Yep.
technically the heel,
Yep.
but they were both over as fuck in France, and they made that incredible song about AJ, which because the song is called "Phenomenal" in French,
Yeah.
I believe. So they sang. It was fucking amazing. I just want that.
Yeah, that's the best. Like
out
when
of
they
the
do
German
fucking,
crowd.
like basically the Ole with Tony
Yeah, yeah.
Storm
Yeah.
and like
Sami
So
Zayn
good.
and Ole too. Yeah.
it was so good. The one for Tony Storm the other day was fucking awesome. Like,
So-
I love the crowd. Shout out to the crowds, man. But I agree. I think you're gonna have those like true wrestling fans who are like, I can't root for Gunther because he's the heel, and I gotta root for Orton. And then you'll have the natural people who are in Berlin rooting for Gunther because they're rooting for Gunther. So yeah, I think it's gonna be split across the board and make for just a great the building's gonna be buzzing. Like when the building was shaking for AJ, I think we can get similar vibes.
Oh, for sure.
Also, that match is going to be Chop City.
Oh, Chop
Yes.
City, baby.
Oh yeah.
I love that Randy's like, listen, I tried to get to 300.
man.
I tried to
Fucking
get to
with it.
300. He said he couldn't do it. He's at 285. Dude is beefy as fuck.
Yes.
He probably was doing that, prepping his chest for the chops
Yeah.
he was going to be getting in
He
Berlin.
said it. I don't know where he said it, but I saw a tweet or some sort of message where he said, I'm in my prime, is what he said. And he was like, I know people think that's crazy. He goes, but ever since I got my back fused, I have a new lease on life.
Yeah.
You can see his body is fucking insane. And it's not that he wasn't working hard the last few years. His body probably couldn't tolerate the work he's putting himself through now. So I'm happy. I'm happy he's getting this run. I don't... He's probably not in the prime of his career, but like I'm glad he's getting this, whether it is a send-off, swan song, whatever it looks like. I'm glad he's being positioned like this because he can still fucking go, man.
I mean, granted, he was 10 years younger when it happened, but look at Shawn Michaels with his back surgery.
Yeah.
Like his second half of his career, some people say is
Fucking
better
lease
than
on
his
life.
first half.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's going to be cool. And
Is there a run-in from a specific rapper?
yeah, listen, is he a rapper anymore?
don't
Machine
know.
Gun Kelly.
I
know-
can't get past the tattoo.
Yeah, where it's just he's just like
blacked out his whole
He's
body.
just basically a barcode.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
70 hours. Like, for what? Because you realize you were a dumbass and got all these dumbass tattoos all over your body, and now you can't get them lasered, so you just black out your whole body? Like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking get it.
He probably could have gotten them laser. Would have hurt a lot more, but
Yeah, he's got the funds for
instead
it.
of being
the
colored
means.
in, I don't know. But regardless, him calling out Orton, or he was on Logan Paul's podcast, and he said fuck you to Orton.
Because Randy
He
had
said he was
talked
walking
shit
by and Orton was
previously.
talking shit about him.
Well, I don't know.
Well, no, he said he
not
had
in the
been
moment.
talking
He said
shit.
Randy
Oh,
had talked shit about him.
I thought he said in the moment.
So
Yeah.
he said he was trying to turn a new leaf, but I just went up to him and said, fuck you. And then, like, the way he followed up with it,
Fuck you,
basically
man.
being like, yeah, Logan Paul's like, when did that happen? He's like, oh, yeah, you weren't there. Like,
Yeah.
totally sounded like a bullshit. And
Like,
then
why wouldn't you have been there? He was there with you. Like, none of it makes sense.
Randy
None
Orton
of it
called him
fucking
out,
makes sense.
replying, saying, like, this is a lie
Yeah,
with
put-
the
he
emoji,
put a
with the
Pinocchio
Pinocchio emoji. And
Paul responded back.
Machine Gun Kelly also...
yeah.
Fucking Paul. I'm Logan Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly responded back, and I don't know. To me, it's probably a work.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
you
I
know,
was going
it's
to say.
probably a work.
I think it's
work.
work. I think
Definitely a
it's-
work because I know MGK, friends with Logan, has done stuff with WWE in the past.
He was in one of their games once as like a
I
DLC.
think, I think
Yeah.
this is his way of maybe I can get a match.
Right. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Mania is MGK versus
I don't
Randy
think
Orton.
that's real.
Or like MGK and Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and like
Kevin Owens.
Eminem.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And this is
it'll
the
be like
final.
a-
This is the end
it'll
of
be
the
something.
Eminem and MGK
Yeah.
battle
Or
for the
who was-
last
I'm trying
7
to think,
years.
Yellow Wolf. I was thinking like the other
Oh,
white
Yellow
rapper
Wolf.
who I used to confuse with him. It was Yellow Wolf.
Yeah, Yellow Wolf. I actually like a lot of Yellow Wolf's music. I don't know about recently, but definitely back
Yeah, I
in like
haven't heard anything from him in
2012,
ages.
I was a big Yellow Wolf guy.
Or Young Gravy.
Pop the
who
trunk.
Signed a 1-day contract with the St. Louis Cardinals today. I know nothing about Young Gravy
Young
except for my
Gravy?
main man Brett, who I love. You don't know who Young Gravy is?
No, I know who Young
Yeah.
Gravy is, but why? St. Louis.
I don't know. He
St.
signed
Louis
a fucking
Cardinals?
1-day contract with the St. Louis Cardinals today. He was throwing out the first pitch, and I only saw it because my good friend Brett sent me something years ago. Like, yo, look at this. This is a new rapper, Young Gravy. Like, we were laughing at it, and I hadn't. Honestly, I thought he died.
Yeah.
And then he pops up today. He actually looks pretty good. He looks like he's doing well. But I'm like, what the fuck? Why is he
Well-
signing a 1-day contract for the Cardinals and throwing out the first pitch?
Also, Young Gravy.
That's weird.
Why is St. Louis Cardinals? He hasn't been relevant for like at least a year.
That's what I'm
He was
saying.
popular last
You know,
year.
Yeah,
Not-
weird. I don't know, man.
Shout out to Young
To
Gravy.
be
I
fair,
guess.
it's as much as I love the sport, it's baseball.
It
They're
is
not
baseball.
always
Yeah,
on
no,
top of the times.
No, exactly. Yeah, they probably just heard his first hit.
That is a
Right.
good point. Yeah, they probably just heard it. And last but not least, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, the friendliest championship match ever.
Does this end with the heel turn? Do we think?
Probably.
Do we think Kevin Owens is turning heel here.
I honestly don't think he does.
No?
I think it's too obvious.
Yeah, because
I
he's
think
done
they
it so
built
many
it up
times.
The way
That's- yeah.
basically the promo the other day, that video package of him turning on everyone, which was fucking awesome.
Yes.
Jericho-
and especially his reactions of like, "Can you blame me? They were all assholes." Except for
Right.
Kofi. We love Kofi. Kofi's great.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, "Yeah, you're right."
Right.
But yeah, they've done it with Sami Zayn. They did it with
Jericho
Jericho.
turn was amazing.
That was
That was
amazing. One of the
probably the
best,
best one.
of all
Why is mine
time.
on the list?
Yeah.
And we were waiting. I remember waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be great. Yeah, I don't think he does. I don't. I think it's
too obvious.
It's too obvious. I don't know.
Is this their way of just being like, hey, let's get another main
I think
draw
so.
on the card in
I
Berlin?
think so. I think they just didn't really know where to go with Cody. They're buying some time to figure out what Mania is gonna look like for him.
The Rock.
Yeah. And so I think it made sense. We know we can put him out there. It's going to be a great match. We know in terms of carrying the conversation leading up to it, they're both going to be great. They're both going to do good. They're both going to know the little picking up the belt, running by him, handing it. Like, they've been great with that. So I think it ends where Cody goes over, they hug, so be it.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
like that. I think that's fair too.
I would probably love the turn. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what? The more I think about it, the more I think you're probably right, because that's probably going to close the show.
That's what
you're not
Yeah.
going to end the show on a heel
what I'm
turn.
thinking.
Yeah,
Not in
especially
Berlin.
because it's not in
Yeah.
Berlin. Especially because like it's probably not going anywhere after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to have
And
a
like
rematch.
and like, don't be wrong, I would love if they ended the show with Gunther and Orton.
Yeah, that'd be
but I
great.
just don't think they're gonna do it.
I can actually see them opening with that.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I would
Get a
love it.
hot start with Gunther.
Maybe
out there.
they open with Cody and then they end with Gunther.
Yeah,
Maybe
That's possible. They've
It's-
done
it's
shit
very
like that
possible.
before.
but it is
Yeah.
Cody, so
'Cause I
like
was
he's the
originally
guy.
thinking-
True, but it's Gunther in Germany.
He's Austrian.
Because then you also have that strap match you could position.
But it's-
you could.
No, I know. I'm just being.
Like,
a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of ways. Because I even originally thought like maybe you have Isla Dawn and Alba Fire start because the European crowd. But I don't think that'll happen. But a lot of good ways to go.
Can't wait for the crowd. Can't wait for the card.
It's gonna be good. But
Can't wait
Cody's
for it
gonna be-
all.
That belt's not going anywhere. We know.
No. Of
No,
course
it's not going anywhere.
Not
anywhere.
He's holding that till he drops it to the Rock at
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Let's wrap with this. Announced shortly before we recorded here, Mr. McMahon, a Netflix documentary series. I actually missed that part
Yeah, series,
earlier.
yep.
I didn't
Whole
realize it
series.
was a series. I thought it was going to be a documentary.
I didn't even know that till you just said that
Yeah,
just now.
Whole series.
announced
Wow.
by Netflix, the official X account for Netflix. It says Mr. McMahon, a documentary series chronicling the rise and fall of the WWE's controversial founder, is coming to Netflix September 25th. Not that far away.
Yeah, it's close.
From Chris Smith, the executive producer of Tiger King, and Bill Simmons.
It's one day late.
It's going to include interviews with McMahon prior to his resignation, his family, and some of the most iconic names in wrestling history,
That's what
as well as the journalists who uncovered McMahon's allegations.
That part
So,
about having him on camera before, like that
That's
excites
so-
me. Like
I
what is
remember-
that gonna look like?
I remember there was talks of them doing a Netflix documentary about Vince that like he was producing almost.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
was
if they
gonna go
just
the other
took
way?
that footage and then they were like,
Fuck
we're gonna
it.
throw
Now
that
we can
shit
put
on
our
at the
own
end
spin
now,
on it.
right?
I
Exactly,
want to
yeah.
know what the phone call sounded like from Netflix to whether it was Nick Khan, Triple H, whatever. Like, hey, so we got this documentary we're about to drop. We just want to give you. I mean, I imagine they gave them a heads up.
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
them going there. I just wonder what
Right.
the conversation was like. Obviously, the people who are at WWE now could care less about Vince McMahon, but I'm just curious how that.
I
went.
am too, and I'm curious to see how deep this goes. A docu-series, like how far back are they going to go? Are they going
Right.
to go back to the steroids trials? Are they going to go back to,
I
all
bet they do. So my guess is, if I had to predict, it's going to start probably with him as a kid, talk about his upbringing.
You think he gives the information up though? Like, do you think
Well, at
Vince?
this point, it doesn't matter now.
No, I
A lot of
understand
that's
that, but
Public.
how
a lot of
much?
that's public
Because there's been
knowledge.
Dark Side of the Rings and a couple other like semi docs that have done the same like
Right.
trajectory of.
There
starting
was,
as
I think, a
kid.
WWE produced documentary that talked about his childhood.
Yeah.
So I think that footage is out there.
Yeah.
Okay, fair play.
And I don't know that it'll necessarily be him talking about it as much
Right,
as
yeah,
just
just-
other players in the game.
It'll be
Pattersons, the
background.
Briscoes,
Right.
Yeah.
the
Also,
others.
It could easily just be like footage of him with narration over it type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, it's going to include interviews with him.
Can you? So on the poster, it was like, what was it? Some mastermind versus something. I forget what the other word was. It was basically obviously the other opposite of
Right.
mastermind of him being whatever he was. But I wonder too if it's like it starts with
Mastermind, Madman are the
Madman.
two
So I
words
wonder if it
highlighted.
starts with like how he took over all the territories, like how he went
That's
in
possible.
and basically bullied everything.
It's also
sold a bunch of dreams, took everything over,
Right.
and then that's like, okay, was he a mastermind? Was he mad? And then now, this is what's happened the last 30,
Right.
40 years.
yeah.
It's
I'm
gonna be good shit. What if,
That's
like,
gonna be
what
can't
if
miss.
What if fucking like Janelle Grant is on there?
right, I
And,
mean, it's
like,
possible.
actually, like,
not
Mm.
mid trial. I mean, they're
Yeah,
still.
that's true.
That's what I'm thinking
Legally, I
because
don't
it's
think
not
she'd be
done
able to
yet.
do
So
it.
that's why. Because the first thought when they were like people, and I was like, oh, they didn't mention that. I don't think they would. And honestly, if they had her, that would have probably been the promo. Would have been
Oh,
a clip of her
absolutely,
and
yeah.
nothing else.
I
So-
bet that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's going to be probably the last episode of the docuseries is the fallout, the full-on fallout
Yeah.
of Mr. McMahon and leaving WWE, which we thought he was going to die in gorilla
And that's the
position.
thing too. I don't think it says there. Is it like a Last Dance type of series doc where we get like 10 10 hours, or is it like 2 episodes and hour and a half?
That's a great question.
Right, yeah.
That's 2 different types of things.
Yeah.
A series could technically be 2 parts, or
That's true.
3, or it could be longer. Interesting. It would be cool as fuck if it like led all the way up to the first Raw.
We haven't gotten much.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
cool.
a long stretch though, because the first
September
Raw
to January?
January.
So you got I
I mean,
that would
even
have to be
10 weeks
I was
puts
gonna
you
say.
at like November, like
'cause if you
Thanksgiving.
did an
So
hour,
this is
it's
6
still long.
episodes.
Okay.
A
So
little
that's gonna
bit
be
more of a synopsis here.
6 is exciting.
Yeah.
It's got to be at least an hour.
6
so that's
episode
gotta be-
series offers a deep dive into McMahon's life and his enduring franchise, culled from over 200 hours of interviews with McMahon himself.
Oh, whoa, when the
Prior to his resignation, his family members, business associates, and some of the most iconic names of wrestling history, unflinching, no-holds-barred look at one of the most enigmatic figures in
Nailed that
sports entertainment. Reading is hard!
No, that was good.
Reading
I
is
would've fucked
hard.
that
My
word.
daughter, thankfully, is a long way away from needing...
You did it cold
help.
too, so like that's pretty top notch.
Yeah, fuck. So yeah, I mean, it's we're gonna get a lot. We're gonna get a lot
Nice.
Behind this.
Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
hope they don't fuck it up. I hope it's not just
I
like
know.
fluff bullshit.
I hope they
But
didn't rush it.
I
or
don't think it's
didn't-
gonna be.
No, I don't think so either.
I
Like,
think-
Bill Simmons is obviously very
Yeah.
detailed. The fucking guy who did Tiger King. I mean, come on now.
here's my take on this. I think WWE wants to separate from McMahon,
Absolutely.
and
they do.
I think more importantly, Netflix wants to separate as
Yeah,
much
makes
from
sense.
Mr. McMahon from their brand as possible. That's why this is coming out before their first episode of Raw on Netflix, because they want to be like, listen, look at all this bad shit, but he's not with the company anymore. Don't worry, this is all gone. He's not going to be here when we take on WWE Raw starting in January. That's my take on it.
That
What's
makes
gonna
sense.
be-
I wonder also if I mentioned like Nick Khan. I wonder if they were like not pushing Netflix, but like, yes, please get this out. early.
Yeah.
What's going to be interesting to see is if they promote this documentary on like Raws and SmackDowns.
Yeah. I know.
Do they mention it like, ooh, check out this
That's
Vince
true,
McMahon
'cause they've
documentary
been
on
staying
Netflix?
away from everything him.
Well, they have
Right.
they mentioned holy stutter. They mentioned Netflix on Pat McAfee's last Raw, correct?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like they said, so it's
well,
not
he
like
means mentioning McMahon.
But
Like,
I'm
mentioning
talking
this
mentioning
documentary.
this specific documentary. Are they going to promote
Oh, okay,
this
because
They're
of,
moving to
documentary on Raw
Netflix, and also on
SmackDown?
Netflix
because of Mr.
is-
McMahon
Right,
himself.
exactly.
Okay,
That is
yeah, that's a good
That's
point.
gonna be
I
interesting
might
to
first
see.
things think it would be no, but
Mine
then I would
too,
think
yeah.
Netflix would also want them to promote that
Right.
because that's the demographic
'Cause
of the
also,
audience
like-
you want is the people who watch wrestling.
we just gave you a fuck ton of money, maybe promote our thing.
Yeah.
Well, this is also
it's gonna be interesting.
For the people, if you've been on Netflix in the last 5 years,
been a while.
every other thing they put in your face is a murder series or a docu-series or some type of murder. People love fucked up shit. So
Yeah.
maybe this is their way
Oh,
of being
yeah.
like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
let's get the fucked up people and bring them over to wrestling.
Yeah.
Makes
We're
sense.
getting Raw in January.
Makes sense.
So why don't we get this sick, twisted man and his story and put it out there and be like, wow, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
That's another.
There's another really cool thing, not wrestling related, coming to Netflix. It's like, I don't know if it's called Starting Five or something, but it follows LeBron,
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
Tatum,
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, DeMontis Sabonis, and I forget the other person, all through last season. So that'd be cool, especially as Celtics
Isn't
fans,
it,
to
Yeah.
follow them.
Isn't it Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards, DeMontis Sabonis,
Is it Doncic?
Doncic. Yeah, Doncic's
Yeah.
the fifth. Yeah, him. Yeah, that's the fifth.
That's gonna be
LeBron
sick.
and Tatum. That looks really cool too. That's coming out soon.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So
they
sh-
had very like Hard Knocks vibes too.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to talk about Hard Knocks right now. I cried this week.
You know, I've actually never watched an episode of
You
Hard
locked
Knocks.
up, you locked up CD Lamb for the next.
No,
however
I'm
many
happy
minutes.
with CeeDee Lamb.
about
It
that?
had nothing
Yeah,
to
it
do
must
with
be
Hard
nice to have a
Knocks.
team that knows how to actually sign their top wide receiver.
But
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm
know that
sick-
you'd wanna
I'm sick of
switch
hearing
places with
about-
Oh,
that.
absolutely not.
I'm sick of hearing about Brandon Ayuk. If I see another fucking
how do you
tweet,
think I
He's not-
fucking
he's not
feel
going-
about it?
He's not going anywhere.
Well, probably
He's
not.
not going anywhere.
Well, I don't even
I
know
don't
anymore.
know.
Just like
He's not
Cleveland just
going.
cleared a
I
bunch of
was
cap
just going to
space.
say that
Although
Cleveland.
they allegedly had a deal in place with Cleveland before, and he was like, "I don't want to go to Cleveland."
Yeah, I thought it was Washington was the one place where he was
That
open.
Pittsburgh, he really wants to go there too.
Pittsburgh? Okay.
But the Niners haven't liked what Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think he's just it's leverage. I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
All right, let's give our guy
Sign your left
Chris.
tackle though.
Yeah, fucking
Might want to sign
get
a
on
left
Trent
tackle.
Williams as
Yeah,
well.
you might
Like,
wanna sign him
goddamn.
first.
He's
That's more
decent. He's a
important.
decent football player. Let's give our boy Chris
Quick,
one.
No, quick.
Yes.
I want to ask him a couple No Mercy predictions.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. I don't want to get murdered by my wife.
No,
so
quick.
let's
That's
make
fair.
this
So,
quick.
yeah.
Did you see the Jada Parker?
Yes.
That promo was fucking
That was
amazing. That promo
incredible.
also was confirmation that I didn't need because I already knew that she is ready. She's
Yes.
beyond ready. That promo before Roxanne walked in killed it, and then even when Roxanne got there, she
It got
elevated
even.
that
It got
fucking
way
promo.
better
Yeah.
once Roxanne.
Was
it
the
was
slap
good
real?
before. I think it, might
sounded, but I was like that. She went down like a fucking ton of
be.
bricks.
Yeah.
Good as fuck.
Oh,
But
here you
also-
go. Sorry, breaking news. 4 minutes ago, Sources to me in Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport, 49ers and Brandon Ayuk have agreed on a 4-year, $120 million contract extension.
76 guaranteed. So
God, that's a lot
Trade
of money.
request withdrawn, and there you go. Breaking news.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Oh, and Brock Purdy's going to get so much next year.
$30 million a year. CD just got 33 or 32 because I think Jefferson's got 33.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brandon Ayuk has now become the 6th highest paid wide
We
receiver
are
in the league.
trading Debo Samuel next year.
Jefferson in front of him, AJ Brown in front of him, CD Lamb in front of him,
Tyreek, I think.
Tyreek.
Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra.
Ross the 5th. Yep.
And then Jamar Chase pretty soon.
It's going to happen. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad we locked up Devontae Smith. before
Yeah.
this. And AJ Brown for that matter.
Well,
Well, there you go. You got your wide receiver.
Yeah. All
Got
right.
your wide receiver. We've solved it all.
But you don't have your left tackle.
We don't have our left.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get on that. That one's actually
That's
more
probably
important. That's a bit more important.
Last thought on No Mercy.
Yeah. So, do you think Jada Parker gets the strap?
No,
I don't think
because
so
of
either.
what happened at the end where they're all like
Who is
noticing
this? Who do you
somebody.
think it is?
It's going to be Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay, I think for Curry. I was
Either
thinking
her or Julia.
Julia was. It was one of the two. I hope it's Vaquer.
I think it's
just
Vaquer
I'm
because
a
I think
little more
Vaquer
excited
is the
about
one who's
her.
going to take the title from
Yeah,
Roxanne.
so that was cool. I don't think Jada's going to win, but I think it's a great
And
opportunity
then-
for her to be in that match.
I'm also very intrigued to see how they go with Ethan Page and
Well, I was
Joe
gonna ask you,
Hendry
does Joe
because
Hendry
like
get it. Trick Williams is the special guest
Yeah.
referee, which makes me think maybe Joe Hendry will win, but now I'm like no, because they're not going to not have Joe. Not that they wouldn't have Joe Hendry go over clean, but I don't think they'd have Trick be also
Exactly.
in the ring at
They'll
the
let
same
it just
time.
be the
it
moment.
would take it away
Yeah.
from Joe Hendry, so I don't think Joe Hendry.
I'm
goes
wondering
over
if this is a Trick Williams
Trick's
heel turn,
turning.
which would be kind of dumb because he's like the most popular guy in
Don't
wrestling
do it,
almost
but
right
then
now.
that
him
Trick.
and Joe would go in a.
Which that would actually be pretty.
That would be
good
fire,
feud,
but
yeah.
then no, because I want Joe to have the belt. So I think
Same.
this needs to be a 1 to 3 matches with him and Ethan Page leading up to him winning.
But it could be like the stopgap to before you go back to that. So it could be Joe loses here because
Yeah.
of Trick, Joe versus Trick, Joe goes back to
Yeah.
Ethan Page and wins it.
Banishes Trick. Maybe that is that Trick's way of coming up to the main roster. No,
I mean-
because you don't need that.
No, but he does need to be on the main
He
roster
does.
soon.
He does. 'Cause,
Like
he's starting to get a little
like
we're
3
not
weeks
seeing him
ago,
as much.
like
he doesn't
should've-
have anything.
He should have debuted on the Raw
Yeah.
or SmackDown after SummerSlam.
That's gonna
Personally,
be
but-
interesting.
Fair play, lads. Fair play to you
Goddamn.
all.
So
this
those
is,
are
this
two
is
I'm
only
looking
the,
forward
by the way,
to.
this is only the halfway point of the insane 3 weeks
Yeah.
of wrestling that
No,
was
No Mercy's
all
good.
in.
We also got-
Bash at Berlin, No Mercy, all out next week.
We also get Obafemi versus
The Don.
the Don for the
Yeah.
North American title. It's gonna be another good pay per view, man. No Mercy Sunday.
Sunday.
Lot
Lot
of action-packed weekend.
A lot
Yeah.
of wrestling this weekend.
Yep.
We are excited for that. My one thing: draft Brees Hall if you can. If you got a top 4 pick, draft.
I
Brees
like
Hall.
that.
Yeah.
that's gonna
I
be.
like that.
I'm gonna say Brees Hall will be this year's fantasy MVP.
Here's my bold prediction. As a 49ers fan, if you have the number 1 pick, don't
take Christian
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
Avoid him.
Okay.
I mean, he's got a calf strain. We don't even know if he's going to play week 1.
Fair
So,
play. And he just lost Elijah Mitchell for the year.
Yeah.
So who? Trey Mason.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be the backup.
Yeah.
Trey Mason. Wow. That's like a blast from the
Oh,
past.
also, since I said I was going to do this on camera, this coming Wednesday, the day before the season starts, is 8:30 is my league's fantasy draft.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. I'm in.
AM, PM?
PM.
Okay.
PM.
Just wanna-
Yeah, I'm not going to do it while I'm at work.
Bold
As much as I want to.
fantasy take.
So I'm going to run down. I'm going to give you even more. I just did one of my fantasy drafts this past weekend. I have another one this week. This is my team. So you guys let me know if I'm going to win anything. 14 fucking team leagues.
Yeah, I'm in a 4. I won my 14 team league last year. Yeah.
So first pick was Jonathan Taylor. Running back Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
I also had the 8th pick out of 14. So then after Jonathan Taylor, I went I went Chris Olave. Then I think I went either Devontae Smith, Brian Robinson Jr., Washington, who I'm very bullish on him this year.
Yeah.
Young quarterback,
Yeah.
rookie quarterback, leaning on the run game. I think they're going to do that a lot.
Eckler is old.
Speaking of him, I also got Jaden Daniels as my quarterback.
That's a good
Wasn't
call.
my first choice. I was actually going to go with Kirk fucking Cousins late in the draft, but I'm really bullish on Jaden Daniels as well. I hope the fucking Commanders don't win a game, but I hope he puts up numbers. Brock Bowers, my tight end in Vegas, a little banged up right now, but I think he's going to do insane numbers. He was amazing at Georgia. He's an H-back. You can put him wide. You can put him everywhere. Calvin Ridley in my flex. Steelers defense. I really, really wanted the Jets defense. I think this year with Rodgers back, they're not going to be on the field as much, and they got a good pass rush.
Assuming
and
Rodgers can
secondary.
actually stay
So when he's
healthy.
healthy, I don't know.
And remember, he got injured 4 plays into last season, so
And then my favorite Young Hoku,
Yeah.
is kicking for me.
nice.
So that's
Fire.
that's my squad.
It's a good squad.
It's a 14 fucking team league, so God knows it's bad enough. I fucking went to go pick up Deontay Foreman once Nick Chubb was out for 4 weeks. I pick up Deontay Foreman, he gets cut the same day.
Yeah.
So I now have picked up the 3rd running back from Cleveland. I don't even know his fucking name.
Yeah.
Also, my favorite host, solid fantasy team name.
My favorite hoe, definitely.
That
Yo,
could be
the
a
whole
good name.
train.
Yeah,
Or Tribal
the whole
Chiefs.
train.
That battery's about to die. We'll see
whole
you guys
train.
here next week. Peace.